More dangerous heat indices each day. In fact, not much change on Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Do you have big plans this summer? Dive into summer with an ASE Credit Union vacation loan. Whether you've got a trip coming up, projects at home, or just need a little extra cash, we've got you covered. So don't put your plans on hold. Visit yourasecu.com or stop by and see us today.
1819 News.
The UAB Health System plans to acquire Ascension St. Vincent's Hospital System in the north central part of Alabama. The cost of that acquisition will be $450 million. The University of Alabama Board of Trustees approved the acquisition, which includes multiple hospitals and facilities and expands UAB's presence even further in the region. The deal, initiated by Ascension back in 2023, is expected to be finalized by fall, pending the regulatory and Catholic Church approval. UAB plans to retain most of Ascension St. Vincent's 5,000 employees, as well as maintain current operations and services. St. Vincent's Birmingham was founded in 1898 and is the city's oldest hospital. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
An officer-involved shooting leaves a Birmingham man dead. The incident broke out at an apartment complex with a call to police about a disorderly person. An altercation erupted between police and 43-year-old Daniel Johnson, which resulted in the shooting. Alabama Senator Katie Britt hosted a fundraiser in Birmingham this week, raising $250,000 for Texas Senator Ted Cruz. He is running for a third term against U.S. Representative Colin Allred. Britt is a freshman senator and Republican who previously delivered the official GOP response to President Joe Biden's State of the Union address. She also raised significant funds for the National Republican Senatorial Committee and her own campaign. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Summers are fun, so how do you make this summer really stand out? You drive into summer in a new Toyota from Toyota of Montgomery. Make it the most memorable and the most fun summer ever with exceptional offers on the 2024 Toyota Corolla. Now just $207 a month. Or the hot-selling new 2024 Camry, only $285 a month. And the fun for everyone new RAV4, just $315 a month. You don't have to drive in your old car anymore. Toyota of Montgomery is paying up to $5,000 overbook value for your trade-in, so you can have the most exciting summer you've ever had. These hot deals on new Toyotas won't last. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. So get to Toyota of Montgomery today. Online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group.
Corolla LE TSRP 23,923. Camry LE TSRP 30,703. RAV4 LE 31,173. 12,000 miles per year for 36-month lease with $499 due at signing. $0 security deposit with approved credit. Excessive wear, tear, and mileage will affect trade value plus tax tag title fee $995 with approved credit and 7/1/2024.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give MVP's Pro Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not an MVP's Pro Rewards member? Join today. Visit Lowe's.com/Messi for more details.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
witness? I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader here in the studio with me. Hey, how you doing today,
Pretty good.
Eddie?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right today. We got a busy show today. District Attorney here from Montgomery, Daryl Bailey, joining us, I believe, at 1 o'clock.
All right.
And then State Senator Will Barfoot and State Representative Reed Ingram, both joining us at 2 o'clock, all talking about the crime issue here in Montgomery. And joining us now, as is tradition on Wednesdays, we have the one, the only Jeff Poor, host of the Jeff Poor Show there at 106.5 FM, and, of course, editor-in-chief at 1819 News. Jeff, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing well, Joey. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being on. And the top story there at 1819 News is Montgomery bloodshed like Nero fiddling while Rome burned, Mayor Reed tweets. And I've seen some of these tweets, and I was thinking to myself, if I was advising him, I wouldn't be putting those out. Just not a great look. And honestly, how are you addressing the city by tweeting? Really?
Well, no, and it's like petty personal stuff too. If it were like, I don't know if it's even appropriate at a higher level, but it just seems like you need to be doing something else with your time there, Mayor, than what you're doing here, picking a fight with Estelle Morrison of WAKA, other people, the members of the Alabama legislature. Like, this is not where you want to be seen publicly.
And also to use a Jon Stewart segment on how it's just a Republican myth, Jeff, that crime is up in major cities around the U.S. I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm sure you have a rebuttal to that.
No, I mean, the numbers don't lie, and even if you rely on the numbers, I mean, the numbers can be fungible. But Joey, I mean, anecdotally, it seems like crime's way up, doesn't it? Yeah. It's just people. What matters is the perception, and you're losing on the perception war.
Yeah, and when you get into the fact, too, there was a new reporting system, and some of the most major cities and areas in the nation didn't really report their stats. It's just, I think it's a lame excuse, and I also find it, again, to be a lame excuse, blaming constitutional carry on this. I'll be generous and maybe give you 5%. You took a certain thing out of police, what they could do at a traffic stop. So I'll give you a little bit, 5%. Maybe it caused 5% of the problem. But maybe that's too generous, right?
No, I tell me this, especially the shooting up in North Montgomery, Joey, if they had concealed carry permits, do you think, what would that have changed?
Nothing. If guys are going to go shoot up a 1,000-person party.
Absurd.
Yeah.
Well, it's just absurd. Well, I was going to go shoot up this party, but my pistol permit expired. I guess I better wait until Monday to go get it renewed down at the courthouse. Then maybe next time there's a big soiree up that way, I'll be able to do this in a lawful manner. It's an absurdity that he should be embarrassed. He and Chip Hill should be embarrassed for even offering that up as a reason, as a cause.
Well, and the mayor just yesterday, Mayor Reed, appointed as special advisor on policing here in the city a man with the last name Batiste. And I believe he's the former director of public safety in your area of the state, as well as the former chief of police there in Mobile. So what's the word on this guy?
I mean, underwhelming. There's a reason he's not down here still. I'm going to tell you, that move yesterday just reeks of desperation. I mean, I guess it's better than nothing, where it did seem like, well, what's Mayor Reed doing out tweeting it? And then while the blood's still pouring out of a victim at another shooting, and he's sitting on social media and tweeting, what's going on here? But I think somebody said, hey, Mayor, you need to do something here, and that's what yesterday Batiste and the new interim police chief looked like to me.
Yeah, and I guess the mayor described it as Gray Boys, who's the now new interim chief, is always worked in this area, was at Aaliyah until he just took this position, and he's more your internal, knows Montgomery and Batiste is an outside look. But I think you're right. They came up with another thing where they've inked a deal with Faulkner to get lower tuition for people at MPD. Like you're seeing all these little things, but I'm like, where are the boots on the streets? Where's the actual deterrence here?
Well, let's talk about that, Joey. And you and I were talking about it on my show earlier. I mean, do you think this? I mean, I know Senator Barfoot and Representative Ingram are talking about a bill, but unless there's a special session, the legislature's not going to meet up until the first part of next year.
Yeah,
do you worry that like a National Guard or something? I mean, when I saw those bullet holes in that RSA building, and it's starting to spill over into where the function of government is occurring in that part of Montgomery, how far away are we from some kind of drastic action being taken?
And this is for folks who don't know, one of the major RSA buildings, I think the Commerce Building, that I think if you've been downtown, you've seen it. And it was on a higher up floor where the glass is shattered. Clearly it was bullets flying in there. This is questions I'm going to ask state lawmakers. Where is there a way to supplement without having to change laws in a big way to supplement Montgomery in certain areas? Can the sheriff department supplement? Can Aaliyah? Like, what ways can we actually get more boots on the street, short of the big thing would be pulling out the National Guard to at least guard state property?
Well, the reason I say National Guard and not Aaliyah, I don't know that Aaliyah is equipped to even handle it. I don't think you have enough Aaliyah personnel to do something there. You just got to restore order and then maybe work on solutions. How far do you think it is? And I haven't spent much time up there during this crime wave, but I mean, how far on the out of order do you think it is?
I think it's quite out of order. I think it is emergency. We need to solve the problem now before it gets worse, sort of situation, and especially with it being the summer. There's something about the summertime where you always see homicides go up, and you're already seeing it exaggerated. I think so far this year, we're at, 35 or so homicides already. And I'm just tired of seeing these numbers so high. But honestly, I look at the national narratives because we're all susceptible to them, and they have consequences. And I think the whole summer of George Floyd, the police brutality narrative was overblown, and it created this issue where police don't want to sign up for the job, or they don't want to stay on the job. And unless you convince people in that world who might want to join that world that we've changed our mind, I don't think you're going to get people that want to join the force.
Well, the other part of this, Joey, there's a disparity between the Montgomery County Sheriff and the Montgomery City Police. As far as staffing goes, you don't have the staffing circumstances at the county level that you do at the city level. They're right down the street from each other. People don't mind working in the sheriff's office, but they don't want to work in the police department. There's something very unique to Montgomery City government that is going on there, to me, because of that disparity.
Yeah, well, and I already know that the sheriff's department is helping to supplement more. I think also there is a bit of a ego. I don't know if it's ego. I don't know what it is, but sometimes hesitance to actually all work together, where I think they could right now all work together. And I mean, people.
My point was this, though: they're not having the staffing shortfalls that the police are at the county level, and you assume they're operating in the same environment with a lot of the same circumstances, same criminal problems, although not precisely. I mean, the county has jurisdiction over certain things that the police don't. But the point being, if things are so hard in Montgomery, be it economic circumstances or whatever, why is the sheriff's office able to get it done but not the local police?
Well, I actually asked the mayor and Chief Deputy Murphy about that, and they both said, well, when you're the sheriff, you're the boss, and you know who the leader is. And even Mayor Reed said, well, you got to work for a mayor and a council, and I think there's your answer. It goes to leadership. It goes to who do you want to work for, what's the mission a chief is given, compared to a sheriff is elected and can pretty much do what he wants.
I think that.
Yeah, but they
plays
still have
into
a county commission, and they
Sure.
still have all these funding things. I mean, they're not totally on an island by themselves. The sheriff, like a dictator, the sheriff's very powerful, but that's not true. I mean, the sheriff is accountable to other things besides just the voters.
That's true, but I think it does come down to the person who's in the job of leadership. And right now, I think Sheriff Cunningham is doing a phenomenal job, and the mayor's office is doing a miserable job on this front. And it's a matter of change your policies. We got to get more personnel on the streets. But I want to, before I let you go today, get to another story you'll have there at 1819 News. And this goes to the Alabama Democratic Party. I'm seeing here Randy Kelly, the chair of the Alabama Democrats, complaining about quote-unquote racial shenanigans when it came to the Democratic National Committee. Is this just another outgrowth of a worn-thin relationship that's long been worn thin?
Well, yeah, it's worn thin. It's non-existent. The National Party apparatus, the Biden campaign, and Alabama level Democrats. Joe Reed, these long outstayed his welcome, probably about 20 years. At least going back to the 2010 flip, but he continues to remain kind of in charge, even though that not for lack of trying by a lot of Democrats to run him off. But I just think National Democrats just don't want to deal with that headache, so they're going about it on their own.
And he made it very explicitly, this is about you don't want black delegates. And I think maybe this is part of the problem with the Democratic Party in Alabama, that if you're accusing the DNC of all people of that, maybe there's some truth to it, but I don't buy it. I think it's just using that worn thin race card to, just excuse, again, bad leadership.
Well, and I think the Democratic Party in Alabama, the modern Democratic Party, is way too. They view themselves as something that is more of a function for African Americans, right? Of blacks in the state. That is what they think they exist for. And then there's some other Democrats, the Tabitha Eisner crowd, Mallory Hagan, who think it needs to be, you want to grow the party, you're going to have to bring in different voices or what, all the Democrat national nonsense of diversity or whatever. And that seems to be the rub. Because, and I say this real quick, Joe Reed is right in saying, hey, when everybody left the Democratic Party in 2010 to go be Republicans because that's what was in vogue and that's the way everybody was voting, I'm still here. I've been running this the whole time, and now you Johnny-come-latelys want to come into the party and run the show. The hell with you.
Well, and I think this actually dovetails in the discussion we started with, that at the end of the day, this is all about who gets elected and what political machines exist in a given city. And, I'm not dog-cussing Joe Reed by any means, but the man's not young by any means either, and it might be time, even though, to his credit, he did stay, that he moves on and tries to pass the torch to somebody. I think it's sort of a problem we've had nationally where a certain generation doesn't want to let go of the reins.
Well, they try to get rid of him, but they ousted him. They got Chris England in there, and it was supposed to be like a brand new day. Nancy Worley was gone, and it was awful. It was even less effective than it was under the Reed regime. So the problem for Democrats, to me, and you don't need right-wing Jeff Moore saying this, it's pretty apparent. There's just two divisions there, and until they come together and figure this out, it's just going to be that sort of back-and-forth seesaw thing they got going on with the Alabama Democratic Party.
It's just, what a mess. And, sometimes I wish there was more robust competition in the state. It might make us better off for it. But I always appreciate your time, Jeff. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, thinking about, how can they do so?
Just go to twitter.com, or as the kids say, x.com/Jeff_Poor.
Thank you, sir. Talk again soon.
Thank you for having me on.
Again, Jeff Poor, folks, there, editor-in-chief of 1819 News, and hosts his own radio show there. I hop on Wednesdays, so we both do each other's shows. But, you were listening to that conversation. Mm-hmm. Did you detect any lies? No. And I'm also at a point where I'm like, it's not up to, just me or Eddie or even all these elected officials who are supposed to be leaders. Like we were saying yesterday, you need to get in the same damn room, no cameras, no microphones, and figure this out now. Because the idea of, we can just put lipstick on the pig. We can spin this in a certain way. It's their fault. It's stuff. No, it's your fault. That's not going to fix the damn problem. And maybe that's what we're doomed to have. But I don't think we have to say it's inevitable. And if people start demanding, y'all grow up, get in the same room, figure this out, stop pointing fingers in public, we might actually come up with something. And everybody, even politically, will be better off for it.
Yeah, but you might say one of my ideas was wrong. And I can't have that. I mean, it's stupid. That's what it boils down to.
You're right.
It's ridiculous.
You're absolutely right. Goodness. But I think part of this too, like the Twitter stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to grow on Twitter X, and I understand that that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And like you can engage in a sort of narrative and commentary that has nothing to do with Montgomery or Alabama.
Right.
And I do stuff like that. I had a hit recently. It's kind of fun to watch. It's fun learning that world. But as far as Alabama Twitter goes, unless you're maybe the Governor Sugar or like Katie Britt or Tuberville, Alabama Twitter's a joke.
Yeah, you get very little traction.
Yeah, it's a bunch of folks who are the talkers just talking to one another. There's no audience there.
No, there's not.
You're maybe talking 50 people
If that.
half the time.
If that. I mean, even me on Twitter, I just started following Reed. There's not much local stuff for me to engage in. But most of the thing I do on Twitter, it's really throughout the world.
I mostly repost stuff that I like.
Yeah.
And people
I do
like
a lot of reposting.
and these sorts of things.
But it's nothing local. I don't think I've ever posted a local.
It's not. We don't have enough people on it.
No, we
in
don't have
Alabama.
that kind of volume. Not here.
And it's just that's why I get the Twitter wars I've seen with Alabama people. I'm like, it's funny sometimes. Oh, so and so got so and so. Come on.
Yeah.
Get in the same room. We're literally neighbors.
Yep.
Let's figure this out. He said humbly. And I'm a jackass on the radio. I'm not elected to office. I don't want to be elected to office. I can see this. Eddie can see this. We all can see
Everybody
this.
can see it. But the problem is you don't have one person. And unfortunately, you don't have one person that says, get it done. And we'll hold them in that room until it's done. You've got a bunch of egos that get in there. And one of them, if not all of them, will eventually go, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not getting my way. I'm out. And you and I and the rest of the citizens here are left holding the bag going, I thought we elected adults. I thought you guys' number one job was to take care of us.
Well, the kids are all right, but the adults ain't.
Right.
272-9228 if you want to hop in on the program. Erica Thomas coming up, but we have time to field some more calls. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, well, they can help you men out, especially if you're experiencing these symptoms. No motivation, lack of energy, always tired. You just have no drive to get out there and do.
You're just kind of checked out.
Including a decrease in your sex drive. You're never in the mood. And your wife's hot. Like you have no excuse. And you're never in the mood. Sort of thing. And you're like, what's causing this? You're losing muscle mass. You're getting thicker around the middle.
Yep.
Just feel like you're walking through your life in a fog. All of these symptoms and signs can be, well, an indication you have low testosterone.
That's right, Joe.
So why not get by Montgomery Men's Health? And the providers there will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low-T treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and even an increased libido.
That's all right, Joe.
Indeed. So you can actually book the same day that you call. Guys, call them up at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. I think line 3 has been holding longer, so let's go to them. You're on there. Who's this?
Yes. My name is Lorraine, and I just wanted to ask a question. I was wondering if the Biden administration sent millions of funds to Alabama and all of the states in the country to specifically address the expected increase in violent crime post-COVID-19, why can't the state of Alabama allot some of those dollars to cities like Montgomery, Birmingham, Dothan, cities that have high crime, instead of sending those funds to Auburn, Opelika, Oxford, Jasper, Coleman, where there's not an abundance of crime.
Here.
So
completely agree.
So that's what I was wondering. Will Barfoot and Reed Ingram, why aren't they pushing for stop the violence commercials and radio spots? Of course, that would help your business. State-sponsored. Why aren't they pushing for state-sponsored billboards? Stop the violence, put the gun. So my point is, the state of Alabama really doesn't care to help Montgomery, Alabama, quash any kind of crime. The violence is to their advantage. The governor, he made a commercial shooting a pistol for re-election. She didn't care about the ramifications. She was a shoo-in for governor, but she still did that. She's a promoter of violence, whether she knows it or not. She's the face of violence in Alabama because of that commercial. So that's why I'm calling. I see a force that, blocked Montgomery from having an occupational tax where it could self-fund things like police protection, fire protection, better schools. They blocked that. They let 26 other 26 other cities in the state of Alabama have an occupational tax, a commuter occupational tax.
Mm-hmm.
The state of Alabama, they operate in Montgomery. Where's the premium? Where's the per diem for Montgomery, Alabama, to take care of these 200,000 people who commute in here daily, use our water? Yes, they turn on waters. Yes, they flush toilets. They stop at stoplights. They call the cops when they have fender benders. They call the Montgomery Fire Rescue when their pinky toe hurts. So we in Montgomery, if you're going to block the occupational tax, the least our government can do, state level, is take those ARPA funds, stop sending them to Oxford, Coleman, places where Trump fly in, Coleman, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So the other day, about a month ago, Kay Ivey decided to send $10,000 to Jefferson County for crime, but had already sent money to Auburn under the color of domestic violence, things that they don't have issues with in Auburn. Opelika, they don't have high crime, but Montgomery does. So I don't know why Will Barfoot and Reed Ingram think that the state of Alabama is going to all of a sudden care about Montgomery and go in there and stop that black-on-black crime. They're not. Will Barfoot should know that the cake lady, the donut man, is not giving out diet pills. So Kay Ivey and Alabama State Legislature, they're not trying to help stop gun violence. They are promoting it. If that woman can make a commercial on a shoe-in election, pointing a pistol, talking about she has her lipstick, she has her purse, and actually point a pistol and not think some of these mentally ill young folks who have nothing going for them won't try to emulate her. She's the problem. Will Barfoot, Ring Ingram, they need to get together and powwow with the governor and ask her what's going on. We live in Pike Road. Of course, we do like the crime in Montgomery because we have Kinsley, we have Abington. We need to get people to live in Pike Road, and the only way we can get people to live in Pike Road is for black fear and crime in Montgomery. So I don't know why they're perpetrating, but we know better in Montgomery. Give Montgomery its occupational tax.
No.
Hurry up.
Why? How would that solve the issue? Or don't we already have a? And you've said a lot here, and I half agree with you. But aren't we already budgeted for many more officers than we currently have on the force? So to me, that suggests that's not a money issue.
Have you driven down Madison Avenue at the intersection of Ann Street, Madison Avenue?
Yes.
Capitol Heights. Have you seen those streets?
Yeah, I used to live there.
Montgomery, if Montgomery has anything extra, we need equipment to at least fix the streets that people come in from Prattville, Millbrook, Wetumpka, Pike Road, and tear up.
Yeah, and I get you can make an argument for an occupational tax, and we want more revenue to do all sorts of things. I hear you there. I'm saying that the issue with, say, police levels, we already have the money, and yet we still don't have the officer.
You pay $70,000 to work in Montgomery, baby. Morale and all these other little things that they claim is keeping them from working in Montgomery. Morale will go out the window. They won't care if somebody looking at them sideways. They put me on an assignment. You pay them $70,000 a year instead of 41. They coming, okay? They will leave Prattville. Yes, they will. They'll leave the county. They'll come work for Montgomery because they paying. So the occupational tax, 1% of a person's income who makes $40,000 is what? $40 a year. Can you imagine 200,000 people paying $40 a year? Mm-hmm. You know what that would do for the city of Montgomery? So the people, it's called setting you up for failure. But when they blocked that occupational tax, they know what they were doing. They tried their best to annex Chantilly and Eastchase. They tried it, but it didn't work. That would have been a devastation for the city of Montgomery. They wanted to get that out there in Pike Road and build up their raggedy roads. Yes, their streets in Pike Road is horrible. I don't know, that school where they're talking about building that Pike Road school, man, they're going to need about 8 lanes out there. They don't have the money. So black fear in Montgomery, crime in Montgomery, that's to their advantage. So they're not going to help Montgomery.
Well, so I would. We have
a mayor.
Okay, like you're saying a lot, and I'm got a bunch of other calls coming in.
I'm trying to tell you the gospel. I'm trying to give you the truth.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you or anybody's got the gospel.
You know how to get the money. Our mayor know how to hustle and sell the city. Thanks, Brian Stevenson and Mayor Reed, because they're our Plan B. Because Plan B, the government, the state of Alabama, the legislature is a joke.
So it's on the legislature. Well, I'd encourage you to listen. Reed Ingram and Barfoot will be on it too. And I'm asking about that.
Let me go to my appointment so I can get back on here and talk to them directly so they can know what's up. We know the games they're playing. Stop perpetrating. They don't care about Montgomery because if they did, they would have done something before 2024, man. It's 2010, 2011, 2015, 2016. Crime been going on forever. No help. So all of a sudden, we're going to get the Alabama legislature to come in and go in there and stop that black on black. Stop faking.
Well, I appreciate the call, Lorraine. Please call again.
All righty. Thank you.
272-9228. Erica Thomas is saying the phone's not working. Yeah, because all the lines are lit up, Erica. Mm-hmm. Here, let me go to line 1 real quick. You're on the air. Who's this?
Take a deep breath.
Okay. No, I think that was informative, that call.
Yeah, well, it's the same line Stephen Reed used. We don't have enough money.
Thank you.
We don't have an occupational tax, so therefore that's why murders are going on. Look, I don't know if y'all saw Steve Saylor with Tucker Carlson. He showed specifically after the George Floyd event the amount of murder in the black community spike and reckless and deaths behind the wheel spike. Now, why is that? Because there was such a pullback from law enforcement in black communities. They weren't being policed. They were started losing cops in droves. The police had to go soft because of all the stuff that was associated with George Floyd. It's completely associated with that event. You can look at it. It's amazing, the graph. It just spiked. And what happened is a lot of blue cities like Montgomery, we embraced this anti-cop movement, and we want to defund the police. Remember that, folks? Remember Democrats defund the police? Y'all remember that one? Oh, yeah. And so what happened was we defunded the police. We have defunded the police here in Montgomery by not hiring it. Now, why haven't we not hired? Joey, I've lived here all my life. After George Floyd and then the Smith kid, A.C. Smith, and the gun situation, we saw a pullback of seasoned officers leaving the city and not wanting to stay, right? They were tired out. And so our force continues to deplete. we could never hire any more cops. And probably you're right. We weren't paying enough money for these kids to come here. We do have a police academy. They can go through the academy and end up as officers here or go elsewhere. But they didn't come. And the reason why is because we have an environment where police officers, black and white, don't feel like they would have their back. Okay, so you have that. I will associate that with, and I've said this many times on your radio show, that the mayor, when the George Floyd event happened, he goes downtown and he spray paints, has somebody without the city council approval to put BLM around your city fountain. Now you tell me that any seasoned white or black cop that wants a job to come here, do you think that they're going to feel like this city's got their back with this organization's name around the fountain? No. That is city-sponsored. They're not going to do it. They don't think they have your back. And Stephen Reed has put himself in a precarious situation. The situation is now we got to be pro-cop. Why is that? Because the murder rate in this city has absolutely quadrupled since prior to 2020. And so it's on him, man. It's on him. So he's got to either make a 180 and change some things, or he's going to continue watching the city go down the toilet.
Well, Chris,
occupational tax is not going to help it.
I'm running out of time here, but not to use you as an example, but if you take your call and then you just take the call we just took from Lorraine and you put the two together, I think that helps explain a lot of the divide right now on this issue and others in our dear city. And I got to run though, man. I appreciate it.
Yep.
But there you go, folks. We got to hit a quick break.
All right.
Be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hey there, it's Leanne with Blue Water Broadcasting. We are live on location today till 12:30 at Mobility Plus, right at 199 Ashton Plaza Street in Millbrook. It is our Operation Help and Hope, where we help out the Cancer Wellness Foundation of Central Alabama, who serve cancer patients in the river region and give help and hope to those who need assistance on the road to recovery. Did you know that 1 in every 3 people are expected to be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime? That's 1 in 3. And we need your help to fill these chemo comfort care bags that are offered to all new cancer patients. You can check out this station's website on what we're looking for and where we're going to be for the rest of the week. But today we are at Mobility Plus in Millbrook. We're looking for things like fuzzy socks, Boost nutritional drinks, blankets, digital thermometers, things to do like puzzle books and pens. You can look for our big blue barrels at all of our sponsor locations. So we are at Mobility Plus till 12:30 today with Blue Water Broadcasting for Operation Help and Hope.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Right now, get the hottest offers on the hottest luxury vehicles. Drive into summer with 1.9% APR financing on new Lexus models. Or drive the new Lexus IS 300, only $369 a month. Or the 2024 ES 350, now just $499 a month. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. Get the lowest Lexus payments now at Lexus of Montgomery, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group.
Number 5130706 or C036027. 5,000 miles per year, 36 months with $3,999 due in signing. With approved credit, expires 6/30/24, plus tax and fees.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering,
What do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. The heat and humidity is certainly locked in for now. We hope some of those random storms will cool down a few lucky towns later. Hot and humid today with a high temperature near 100, but the heat index perhaps as high as 105, which is the danger range. Scattered random hit-or-miss storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours, today, tomorrow, and Friday. Tonight's low 74, Thursday's high in the mid-90s, with upper 90s again on Friday, and more dangerous heat indices each day. In fact, not much change on Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Soon we'll be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. During our big moving sale, get a great deal on a Kubota with 0% APR up to 84 months with approved credit. Now through September 30th, 2024. See Capital Tractor in Montgomery or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228. And I really do appreciate all the calls from different perspectives, because getting all that out in public next to each other, too, is the way we have to get through all this. So I do appreciate all the calls here. Let's go now to real quick, Simpler Days. Hey, how you doing, sir?
Well, how about a perspective from a former MPD law enforcement officer that spent 34 years down there?
Yes, I'd love to hear it.
It's not about money. They've tried this all over the United States. They've given $50,000 bonuses. Florida's tried it. Everybody has tried the money thing. It's an internal issue. And, yeah, you can pay them $70,000 and they'll come, but they won't stay, because they're not going to work under the conditions that exist there now. And that's the bottom line. Doesn't Birmingham have a occupational tax?
Yes, they do.
Yep.
Okay. So Birmingham is one of the highest crime rate cities, so the occupational tax is not the answer. And signs, they'll use those for target practice. Right. You know, We've had a sign up on the interstate forever about syphilis in Alabama and Montgomery, and continues to lead the nation in syphilis.
Yep.
So you can continue to put those signs up.
Well,
and
it's true.
Though they could adjust the sign. Let's just have a big old photo of like a canker sore. See if that works.
You ever seen cigarette packs overseas?
Yeah. Oh,
they
yeah.
have the graphic photos of cancer victims.
No, and Lorraine said a lot there. A lot I don't disagree, or I don't agree with. Some I would agree that the state should be focused on this. And
well, Joey, if it's a national issue,
Yeah.
as we keep hearing, it's a national issue. Then why don't our president, instead of sending all the money to Ukraine, send some of it 2 for crime prevention, intervention in the United States. He used to be the big prison president, so, and that was a crisis going on then, so why can't he get tough on crime now?
And I'm sure even Lockheed and Mike Rogers would be happy to make javelins for domestic consumption.
Well,
give them no ideas, Joey.
Yeah.
I just think that, you know, we want to say that there's 2 or 3 things that are not arrest, not enforcement, not putting their butts in jail. We want to say all this other stuff, but the 3 basic things that law enforcement officers can do every day to reduce and stop crime, they don't want to talk about that. Because as we know, as the mayor's favorite saying, we can't arrest our way out of it.
That's right.
Well, I appreciate the call, man. Really do. Let's go to Erica Thomas of 1819 News, editor-at-large there at 1819 News. Erica, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well. I was doing better before I was listening to this phone call because my blood pressure is starting to go up a little bit. I've been a public safety reporter in Birmingham, in East Alabama, over at Phoenix City area. In Montgomery is where I started my career, and now I'm in Baldwin County. So I feel like I've seen a lot of things. But at the end of the day, what the problem is a culture problem, definitely not a financial issue. You know, Birmingham has plenty of tax dollars coming in, but doesn't stop them from being in that list of top 10 most dangerous cities in the state. But if you look at that based on crime rates, you've got Anniston, Bessemer, Fairfield, Selma, Pritchard, Birmingham, and Opelika. That's the top 7. So Opelika, yes, does have a crime problem. However, all of these cities have one thing in common, and that is they're run by Democrats with progressive policies. Progressive policies ruin cities. We've seen that nationwide. You have the highest homeless rates, the drugs, the unemployment. People don't want to work. They want the government to pay them to live. And if they can't help themselves, then I don't think other people should have to step in and help them. And I don't understand why there's this blame game going on. It's always somebody else's fault, and they feel so entitled to those tax dollars. Police have to be proactive, not reactive. And at this point in Montgomery, it is too late.
Yeah, based on your covering all this and years of covering all this, what would you suggest to, say, a state lawmaker like a Will Barfoot or Reed Ingram or anybody at the state level? What would you suggest they might do?
As far as state lawmakers, get into those cities, talk to those city leaders. It's time to come into these cities like a wrecking ball. You know, it's time to take it back, and put some fire under these police chiefs and the mayors. I mean, they are the responsible parties here, and they need to be held accountable.
Well, and it does require a change in leadership. Even like I just saw you reported on Mayor Woodfin in Birmingham just vacated the assistant police chief and deputy police chief positions.
Yes, and that's part of, I don't know like how far this restructuring is going to go in Birmingham. I think that there's nothing, I personally know police officers that worked for BPD. One of them just retired last week, and we heard this information. He was so excited because he's so tired of these, like I said, progressive policies taking over. It's putting police officers in danger too. But when you can't sleep at night in your house without worrying about a stray bullet coming through your window, and I've been there before. I lived outside of Birmingham, and I would hear gunshots at 1 a.m. The next day I found shell casings in the road in front of my house. Like, I know how it feels to live terrified. Your head's on a swivel. But think about the police that are out there day in, day out, dealing with this to try to protect people, but it's not working because, again, you can't help people that don't want to help themselves.
And I'm wondering what the police department in the daggum state is actually doing well right now.
I mean, I think when you look at the larger cities, Huntsville seems to be doing doing better, but they're always better on those crime rates anyways. They're one of the larger cities that's okay. And honestly, here in Baldwin County where I live, what I'm seeing is smaller departments, but Foley, the police department, is doing amazing. They just came out with this new pay scale. You can start out working there for I don't want to say the number for sure, but high 60,000 range, starting out as a police officer, and the best pay scale I've seen for a police department anywhere. The Gulf Shores Police Department did the same thing, raised their pay. They are paying people more to work. You know, especially down here, it's hard for a police officer to even afford to live in the city they work in.
Yeah, and I believe Montgomery just did a pay raise too, and there's all sorts of things that I think most people will agree with, at least the council and the mayor will agree on, and try to get done. It's just, it's not a good direction we're going in, because Birmingham's got issues, Montgomery's got issues. I know Mobile's had some internal issues lately. It's other than Huntsville, it seems like our big cities need some work.
Well, and when city leaders focus more on the color of skin to make decisions, instead of real policy that's going to make a difference, that's a progressive attitude and a progressive stance to take, and it's just disastrous. So they really need to start coming together, everybody work together, appreciate everyone, and what they add to society, and base your decisions on that.
Well, I really do appreciate your time. I know you got another hit coming up. If folks want to look at all your reporting, or everybody there where you work, where I kind of work, how can they do so, Erica?
Just head on over to 1819news.com. We appreciate anybody checking out our website. You can also sign up for exclusive content if you'd like. It's just $5 a month or $18.19 a month. So please go check it out. Help support us. Keep us going.
Well, I really do appreciate the insights and the time. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to her, too, that we're a little delayed, but a lot of folks want to get in on this. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting, and they're at River Region Contracting. Well, they're ready to help you with that roof of yours. Could be you have an asphalt or a metal roof. Both need to be inspected on a regular basis for basic preventative maintenance. You know, some manufacturers suggest 3 to 5 years. Right. Eddie and I have been saying, in these Alabama elements, do it every year. Do it at least annually. You'll have peace of mind if you do it that way. And here's the beautiful news. They're at River Region Contracting. Their inspections and estimates are always free.
That's right.
And they're a team of insurance specialists that can walk you through the claims process if they find an issue with your roof, and make it a swift and easy process with that insurance company of yours. So check them out today. That number, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell Todd Clark and that great team at River Region Contracting that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with an update on the real estate market in the River Region. Sales of homes for the last 5 months will top 1,900 homes. Even though sales are slightly lower, the average sales price is still climbing. First-home home buyers comprise over 34% of all sales, with no slowdown in sight for them. We now have more homes on the market in all price ranges, which gives buyers more choices than they've had in over 2 years. Some helpful suggestions for today's home buyer would be: 1. Work with a local lender for your loan approval. 2. List 3 must-haves for your new home and seek to find properties to match your needs. 3. Work with an experienced and knowledgeable real estate agent to help you with your search, your showings, and receive advice on offers and negotiations. 4. Always use a licensed recommended home inspector when you find the home you choose. For all the details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Come celebrate the grand opening savings all month long at the all-new Infinity of Montgomery. It's here in Prattville. Grand opening savings on the new 2024 Q50, now $519 a month. Get low 0.9% APR financing and save month after month. And pre-order the highly anticipated 2025 QX80. It's here in Prattville. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. Hurry in to the grand opening event at the all-new Infinity of Montgomery.
With approved credit, 36 months, 10,000 miles per year lease, 7,200 plus zero security deposit due at signing, plus tax, tag, title, and dock fee.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Coming up, 1 o'clock. District Attorney here for the Montgomery area. We have Daryl Bailey joining us. Look forward to that conversation. And let's go to the phones to talk to Duke real quick. Hey, Duke, how you doing?
What up, fellas? We're getting the Elko again.
How about now?
Hey? Huh?
How about now?
Wait, you said fellas 3 times.
I know, I heard some follow-ups after I was done.
Okay.
But, what's her name? Lorraine?
Mm-hmm.
I like her call, but she laid it out.
I thought it was going to be you, Duke. I thought she reminded me of you so much.
Yeah, there you go. See, I knew she was going to get some blowback. I knew it. Oh, Chris couldn't help himself. Ain't it fun, the police? Didn't she say it wasn't about the damn money? Didn't you say it wasn't about the money? London girl police department got plenty of money, don't they?
Yeah, actually, they do have the money.
State of Alabama has
There you
tons of money
go.
right now.
So they be reaching, boy. We trying to figure out why in the hell certain areas get attention and some areas not getting attention too. That's what you're saying. I mean, Madison Avenue, Highland Avenue, I talk about all the time. They claim it's owned by the state. But hell, what the state does, they go out there and build some damn brand new prison, put these guys in that commit this crime every day that they don't want to help solve. Okay? Want them to create bills to let them out. Trying to get locked up here, to let them back out. Right on back out.
Mm-hmm.
So, talk to me. What's up with that, Mr. Joe?
Well, you just need to keep listening because I've got a whole set of interviews for the next 2 hours that we're going to be talking about these issues.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna listen, but
I got to run too. I got a break here.
Oh, okay.
But I appreciate it, Duke.
Okay, Carl. I just getting warmed up, dude.
I know. That's why I'm stopping you now.
I'm finna lay it out. I'm sorry.
Thanks, man.
See you, Duke.
We got at the stop hour break, but first, this part of the program brought to you by Clearwater's Property Management. And Reed Waters and the team there at Clearwater's Property Management are ready to help you with tree trimming or tree removal.
That's right.
Just take the whole tree out.
Especially if you got one that is dying or a weak tree, it may be leaning over your property or maybe leaning over your neighbor's property. And it's your tree, and you don't want to be that neighbor.
Right. Or, God forbid, it already fell.
Oh, yeah.
And they can, of course, help you remove it there. Or maybe it is just a trimming job. You want to get limbs that are maybe obstructing view or getting into the driveway.
We did that with the Airbnb. We couldn't see the lake until we got all the trees trimmed up there, and now you've got a clear shot of it.
Or maybe you got an ugly stump.
Oh, Joey.
Like ugly stump there in the front yard.
Lots of them around here.
And you're mowing around it. You're looking at it, it's just an eyesore. Well, they can do stump grinding there at Clearwater's Property Management. So check them out today. You can give them a call at 430-0376. That's 430-0376. And be sure to tell them that, those fellas on the radio, Joey and Eddie, sent you.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gerskovich has gone on trial in Russia on espionage charges that he, his employer, and the U.S. government vehemently deny. The 32-year-old journalist was detained while on a reporting trip in March 2023. A suspected attack by Yemen's Houthi rebels has targeted a ship in the Gulf of Aden. The attack follows the departure of the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower after an 8-month deployment in which the aircraft carrier led the American response to the Houthi rebels. Severe storms with tornado warnings brought hail and heavy rain to parts of the Midwest as floodwaters breached levees in Iowa, creating dangerous conditions that prompted many evacuations. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by the Johnny Adams Law Firm. They want you to stay safe on the road. Please don't text and drive. Get to your destination safely. Your family and friends will thank you. From the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
Well, hi, everybody. The heat and humidity is certainly locked in for now. We hope some of those random storms will cool down a few lucky towns later. Hot and humid today with a high temperature near 100, but the heat index perhaps as high as 105, which is the danger range. Scattered random hit-or-miss storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours, today, tomorrow, and Friday. Tonight's low 74, Thursday's high in the mid-90s, with upper 90s again on Friday, and more dangerous heat indices each day. In fact, not much change on Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. A man is fighting for his life after being shot in Montgomery Tuesday morning. Police responded to the area of McGee Road and Oxford Drive just before 8 a.m. to find the unidentified victim suffering from a life-threatening gunshot wound. He was taken to a nearby hospital in critical condition, suspect and motive unknown. Alabama death row inmate Alan Eugene Miller is asking a federal court to stop his September 26th execution. Miller claims the state's nitrogen hypoxia execution method is experimental and inhumane. The state previously attempted to execute Miller by lethal injection, but officials were unable to find a vein. Police have released the identity of the victim in a deadly Monday afternoon shooting in Montgomery. The shooting happened about 12:45 in the 2100 block of Plum Street. 42-year-old Ashley Fulgram was pronounced dead on the scene. Police have charged 65-year-old Kevin Chase with the murder. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing. and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586 368, Equal Housing Lender.
Come celebrate the grand opening savings all month long at the all-new Infinity of Montgomery. It's here in Prattville. Grand opening savings on the new 2024 Q50, now $519 a month. Get low 0.9% APR financing and save month after month. And pre-order the highly anticipated 2025 QX80. It's here in Prattville. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. Hurry in to the grand opening event at the all-new Infinity of Montgomery.
With approved credit, 36 months, 10,000 miles per year lease, 7,200 plus zero security deposit due at signing, plus tax, tag, title, and doc fee.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. The news and views in the afternoon, or as we're calling this thing online, Joey Clark Live. Eddie Bader's still in the house, but as promised now, we have right across the desk from me, District Attorney here from Montgomery, Daryl Bailey, joining the show. How are you today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you for finally having me, man. I thought you were mad at me or something.
No, I went through a phase where I didn't want to talk to anybody, and get involved sometimes with local stuff. I'll just be straight up. I think we're now at a point where everybody who has eyes on the problem we currently are seeing needs to be out here publicly speaking.
Sure, yeah.
And let's just getting perspective and know-how out. So just kind of generally, though, like from your perch, where are you seeing the crime issues? What have you been trying to emphasize over the last year or two?
Well, first of all, dealing with the crime, this is something I've been talking about for a decade now. I think you could go back to WSFA archives and see me saying the city of Montgomery is under siege with violent crime. I got in a little bit of trouble with the mayor back then for saying that, but it's truth. I mean, I could see violent crime ticking up. It's just that, just didn't get a lot of attention for whatever reason. And that's sad because, we're now 10 years later and now trying to all of a sudden try to find solutions. But it is bad. I mean, anytime we have a death in our city, it's bad. But when we have, in my office right now, close to 300 murders pending, that's 300 families. And you can imagine, in each one of those families, how many people, that's thousands of people in our city that have been impacted by just homicide.
Yeah, and I'm remembering back, 2014, the year you're elected, was a very bad year. Yeah. One of the worst under Mayor Strange, I'm remembering.
Right.
And so, yeah, the problem has been there, and it's sort of, there's always an issue of where do you start the clock on the history lesson? Like, do we go back to the 70s? But when we look at it now, if you could, and maybe you don't want to give a specific case, but what is the reason? Because when you're prosecuting this, you actually have to get the story and the fact patterns here, what happened. What are the usual reasons somebody is shooting somebody else here in the city of Montgomery?
Yeah, generally you can put it in a few categories. It's either over drugs, over women, domestic related, or gang related. So basically those three categories are going to be 99.9% of the homicides, or the violence that we see in Montgomery. The only good news out of that is there's a very small percentage where innocent victims are shot. Now, we have seen that, unfortunately, more this year than we have, but most of them are drug-related, domestic violence-related, or gang-related.
And so some of these, obviously you can't speak to the most recent thing, but I'm imagining when people just roll up, it's retaliatory, it's especially the gang environment. Like, you're just talking about kind of, they might be targeting somebody, or they might just be targeting a house, or it's a message they're sending.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. And they don't care if anybody's killed or not. If that's just not, I don't know that they specifically go over there to kill people sometimes, but they don't care. They are sending a message, and it's over stupid stuff, Joey. I mean, you know, I can, you know, without talking about cases. I mean, one of the recent ones because somebody accused one group accused the other group of stealing somebody's gun in one of the groups, and okay, well, we'll get you. You know, or it's over, you know, somebody disrespected my girlfriend, or you know, somebody came into my territory when, you know, so
right,
just stupid stuff,
right.
Real childish stuff. When it comes right down to it, I mean, these gang members are all really, they're really cowards. I wish everybody could see what I see in the courtrooms when they're sitting there crying like little babies when they're getting sent off to prison for the rest of their lives, or talking to them in a holding cell right before they go to court. You know, sometimes I get privy to those conversations and, you know, just see how scared they are. They're really cowards. And, you know, it's the silly stuff that they're doing this over, the retaliatory, but yeah, 100% retaliatory is probably the best word that you could use, because a lot of what we see is retaliatory.
And how many of these are literally kids, like juveniles?
A ton of them, a lot of them. I would say almost most of them.
And that's 15, 16, 17.
Yeah. So we have, you know, I tell people all the time, you got 14, 15, 16-year-olds walking around the city of Montgomery that'd rather shoot you than have a conversation with you. They just don't care. They don't have any value to life. They have zero communication, conflict skills, conflict resolution skills. They just they don't think about the consequences. And sometimes I just don't think they care about the consequences.
Now, the question of bail, and so somebody commits a heinous crime, assault, violent assault, murder, these sorts of things, and people are like, oh, they're back out on the street real soon, real quick, and of course your name gets brought up, you're the district attorney. But so when we look at how can we better keep folks who have committed violent, heinous crimes off the streets?
Yeah, great question. And first of all, I try to be clear now because, sometimes I look at social media or somebody will send me some social media. Daryl Bailey let somebody out on bail. Well, I can assure the radio listening audience that Daryl Bailey is not letting anybody out on bail on violent offense. My prosecutors are not allowed to agree to bail reductions on violent offenses. And I certainly am not making that call. My goal is if you commit a violent offense in Montgomery, I want you locked away for the rest of your life. I don't want you to ever see daylight again. I don't want you to ever walk in the streets again, because at that point you need to be separated from society. But we are having issues with bail because Nye's Law helped a lot of that. I will be the first to say, but for some reason, and I really don't understand, you maybe talk to some of the legislators that you talk to, but they did not include crimes like attempted murder in Nye's Law, which is really one of the top crimes that we see when we're talking about violent crimes. Unfortunately, they're not successful in killing them, but those are very dangerous because they weren't successful. And guess what they want to try to do? They want to go back and try to finish it. But attempted murder is not included in the Nye's Law, and I do not, for the life of me, understand that. So that's one of the things that we need to fix. The other thing that we need to look at is that because of a Nye's Law, bail companies started losing money. They weren't making as much money, I should say. And so they were trying to find creative ways to make more money. So what used to happen pre-Nye's Law is if Joey went out and committed a robbery and he got a $50,000 bail, they would charge you or your family 10% of whatever that bail amount is, the $50,000. You'd have to pay that to the bonding company, and then they would post your bond, and you'd get out and go. Well, now bonds are sometimes higher. We have judges, believe it or not, who are setting some higher bail amounts, like $100,000 on a robbery, and it makes it tougher for them to get out. So what bonding companies have started doing is they've started taking down payments. So what they'll come in and do is now they'll say, all right, well, you don't have the $20,000 or whatever it's going to cost. Why don't you pay $1,500 and then you can pay $500 every month to us, and we'll get you out. So they've started doing that.
Wow.
My problem with bonding companies too, and I brought this up to our court system because they're the ones that can do something about it, is that you got a bonding company, ABC Bonding. I hope that's not a real company, but I made that up. But
might be
AXC Bonding Company then. but they're making millions of dollars of bonds in Montgomery, but they don't have the money to back that up.
Right.
If about 4 or 5 of them defaulted on their bonds, there's no way they could pay for that. So I have a problem with that. I think we should have an accounting and make these bonding companies make sure they have the resources to pay if these folks do default. So that's one thing that we're looking at. The other thing we're looking at is to try to prevent them from taking these payments and doing that. There's a lot of different things we can do legislative-wise to take care of that. I get funny looks sometimes from people because, I'm pretty law and order, but people don't expect me to say this, but I believe it, is I don't like our bail system. I think we should do away with it. I think we should do away with cash bail because it is fundamentally unfair. So if Joey and I go out and commit a robbery, you're rich, I'm not, you get out, I stay in. Does that contribute to public safety? No. Just because you're rich doesn't mean you're not violent. We had a doctor in town, an emergency room physician, who was responsible for a lot of crimes, including killing his girlfriend's ex-husband. And he was able to pay $1 million to get out. And, he continued to commit more crimes and wound up getting killed in another state. But my point is, just because you have money doesn't mean you're not dangerous. So what I would like for us to go to in the state of Alabama is a detain or not detain. So you go before a judge when you're arrested, and the judge looks at your criminal history, looks at the crime you committed, and then makes a decision whether you should be detained or released. That would be a fair system, be a more just system. It'd be for public safety, be a better system in my opinion. So. But bail is, I'm the one who, when I first came into office, bail in murder cases in Alabama was $75,000. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's crazy. So I wrote the Supreme Court. I think it was, I forget who the Chief Justice was at that time. I think it was Roy Moore. And I said, hey, we need to increase this bail amount in homicide. So he appointed me to some committee, which I'm still on. But, I fought like everything to try to get them to raise it. And I finally was able to get them to see the logic in my argument, because you could do drug trafficking in Alabama and get $1.2 million bail if you had some pills in your pocket or enough cocaine or whatever. You could actually get $1.2 million by the magistrate. But if you committed a murder, $75,000 is the max that the magistrate could do, which was ridiculous.
So and you mentioned it with the bail companies, and also say with the amounts, can judges now, could the judiciary do this unilaterally under current law, or is this something we need the state legislature to address?
Yeah, you're either going to have to do it legislatively, or the Supreme Court's going to have to come in and administer rules. But I've been in talks with the Supreme Court, and they prefer it to be done legislatively. So, just recently, as late as last week, I've talked to the Lieutenant Governor's office. They're very interested in what's going on in Montgomery, as everybody is. And I'm thankful for that. Whatever the reason people are now paying attention to crime, I'm thankful, because, I've gotten calls from the governor's office, Lieutenant Governor's office, and, everybody's wanting, hey, what can we do? And, sometimes I roll my eyes because I've been up at the legislature for the last 3 years trying to get some tough gun laws for these criminals walking around committing these violent felonies. And I haven't gotten anywhere with it. But all of a sudden now, we want to help you. Well, you could have done it 3 years ago. How many lives could we have saved?
And again, folks, we're talking to District Attorney Daryl Bailey. On charging, can you, regardless of what the police give you, can you charge somebody if you think the facts are there with whatever you want? Or do you have that independence and discretion to charge how you wish?
Yeah, so the way that would work is whatever the police charge, hopefully they're communicating with us and talking to us prior to that. There's a lot of DA's offices that have to approve the charges before the police can actually sign a warrant. We don't do that, mainly for lack of manpower. We don't have somebody we can put 24/7 working with the police like that. But what happens is, if the police do charge and we don't agree with the charge, well, I do have the power to dismiss that charge, and we can bring another charge either through the grand jury process, or we can do it through our investigators.
And don't have to necessarily give specifics, have there been instances where you took that route and you're like, why are we not going with this? Why did you present me with that?
Yeah. I mean, that happens. We try to keep that internal between us and the police, but we have those discussions all the time. I'll call, whoever the chief is. whoever the chief is, and say, hey, we've got this issue. We need, I think these are the charges that should have been brought. Or maybe sometimes, they bring the wrong charges. I mean, we've seen that just are not legally right. So, I mean, that's why we're there. I mean, we're there to make sure that whatever the police does is legal. And for the most part, I mean, we work really well together, and they do a great job.
And why is the judicial system so backed up?
Well, there's really, I can give you the main reason for that is COVID. I mean, for better part of 2 years, our trials were put off, and we didn't have trials. And I did not agree with that. I think we should have been back trying cases a lot sooner than we were, but that's not my decision.
Right.
And so what happened is pre-COVID, we were probably around 100 cases backlogged in homicide. So we still had a backlog. Mm-hmm. But since we didn't try cases for 2 years, people kept killing each other, and those cases just stacked up. Before you knew it, post-COVID, we were 300 plus homicide cases. And, people ask me, well, how can we get out of that? I mean, and under our current resources and system, there's no way we can get out of that because, for example, we can try 2 or 3 murder cases in a jury week. Well, guess what's happening in that week? We have more murder cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on average too, I don't think people, unless they've been part of it, understand, and I don't think I fully understand, like the amount of resources and kind of what is the average time when you're doing it right to say a murder case, these sorts of things.
It takes a lot of resources, a lot of time. So, you're talking a couple of months preparation at least. That's working on it, not full time because you got a lot of other cases, but that's working on it quite a bit. Because, in a typical murder case, you may have 100 witnesses. Most of those are going to be law enforcement, and most of them you're probably not going to need. But here's really where the difficulty lies, is that when you have a homicide case, is trying that case 3 or 4, sometimes 5 years later, trying to find these witnesses and get them to cooperate, to come in and actually tell what they saw. That is the very difficult part that we have to do. Our investigators do a really good job tracking them down. The other difficult part about that we're seeing a lot lately is people just fed up. They see a murder happen and they're fed up with what's going on. They don't want to be a part of it. They don't want to lose their life.
Right.
I mean, we've had to move to Miami and New York, and we had one the other day that was living in Alaska. Well, guess who has to pay for them to come back to the state of Alabama to testify? Mm-hmm. My office. And guess how much budget we have for travel and expenses for people to come and testify? Zero.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we don't have a budget for that. So we have to cut money from, other things and sometimes people to actually get these witnesses to come and try. Come to trial.
Now, do you think we need, even on like a special appointment, do we need more judges to help? And again, this would be a legislative thing, but do we need more judges?
The answer to that, in my opinion, is yes. But, the reason that they're not going to provide us more judges is because they're going to say, well, it's your fault. Y'all should have been trying these cases and I can see some logic in that. If we get caught up, we're probably fine with the judges we have. In the current situation, we need more judges. So we got together, Chairman Doug Singleton with the county commission called a meeting with me and Sheriff Cunningham and the presiding judge, J.R. Gaines, and said, hey, what are we going to do about crime in Montgomery? Specifically, what are we going to do about the backlog? Because he is right in saying that if we can't handle the backlog, we're having trouble sending messages that, you commit a murder, well, 5 years we may get to your case or whatever. The message is lost. Let's get these people charged and convicted, in a reasonable amount of time and go, quite honestly, some of the problems that we're having is getting case files from law enforcement because they're so understaffed. We used to get case files in homicide cases, 6 months. Now it's taking, maybe a year or two.
Again, folks, are talking to District Attorney Daryl Bailey. Need to hit a quick break here. And when we come back, I kind of want to get into, say, the psychology side of and things like deterrence, like the messages you were just talking about. How are those messages sent? When is it most effective? And kind of how that whole process works. Interested in that aspect.
Sure.
So before we hit the break, though, this part of the program brought to you by All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. And they're at All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. They're located right there in Tallahassee, Alabama, but they're serving the river region and surrounding areas. Let them be your one-stop shop for all HVAC and electrical needs. And by the way, if you haven't had your HVAC, say, at least checked, like a checkup, basic maintenance, you need to.
You're gambling.
I've been through it. Do not let your AC go out in the middle of the summer. It is miserable. I don't know how people survived before. And of course, if you want to get new installs, they can also help you with that on the HVAC side. Or maybe with storms rolling through, you really want to have, say, stability when it comes to your power. They can install a brand new Generac generator. On the top of the line generators out there. You know, it might be just for your convenience, or if you really do have medical devices, other things that you need to have power for, they can help you in that regard. So that number for All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical, 301-1961. That's 301-1961. Or you can always go to allproheatingair.com and be sure to tell them that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Honey, I got my bonus check today.
That's great, sweetheart.
Let's book that Hawaiian vacation right now.
Actually, I was thinking more like an electrical upgrade for our house.
What?
It's not all that glamorous, but updating your home's electrical system is a great investment, enhancing its value and your safety. The panel and wiring in most older homes were not designed to meet modern demands. The experts at Crosby Electric can update your system to give you peace of mind.
Sorry, honey, but I just want to feel safe in my own home.
Faulty wiring and electrical equipment are among leading causes of most home fires. Crosby Electric will make sure your panel, meter, circuit breakers, and receptacles are up to date.
I can just see us lying on the beach at Waikiki.
And I can see us lying in our own bed, knowing we're safe.
Okay, but next year...
I'll dance the hula in a grass skirt.
All right.
Sleep well with no electrical worries. For a free home assessment, visit crosbyelectric.com.
Are you ready to make that lake life dream of yours a reality? I'm Eddie Bader, and my partner Hannah Grantham and I have the perfect home for you.
That's right. 341 Beechwood Drive is a stunning waterfront property on Lake Jordan.
This custom home has 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, and more amenities than we can fit in this ad.
But there's more. The seller is offering an interest rate buy-down with the right offer, making it easier than ever to own your dream lakefront property.
Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us, Hannah Grantham and Eddie Bader with Forest Meadows Homes and Land, 334-322-0662 to start living the lake life you've always dreamed of.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health...
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Well, hi, everybody. The heat and humidity is certainly locked in for now, and we hope some of those random storms will cool down a few lucky towns later. Hot and humid today with a high temperature near 100, but the heat index perhaps as high as 105, which is the danger range. Scattered random hit-or-miss storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours, today, tomorrow, and Friday. Tonight's low 74, Thursday's high in the mid-90s, with upper 90s again on Friday, and more dangerous heat indices each day. In fact, not much change on Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Have the best looking lawn in the neighborhood with help from Capital Tractor. Web Bobo here. Don't miss our Buy a Mower, Get a Blower sale going on now. Buy any Kubota mower on our lot and get a Steel handheld blower absolutely free. Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. course, we have District Attorney Daryl Bailey here in the studio with me. And where we left off is kind of the messages that you can send. Like the idea of if we put one person who murders someone or rapes someone, does something awful in prison, and we do so swiftly and publicly, this will stop other people from doing the murdering and the raping. Is that kind of the 101 level of deterrence here?
Yeah, I think so. And honestly, I don't know what kind of deterrence it is nowadays. Used to when I first started out, I think it was a huge deterrent. But I do think I think it helps, obviously. And that's one of the problems with us, not trying cases during the COVID era, is that we weren't sending those messages. Those messages weren't getting out. Just what was it, like a week before last, we had 2 cases in Montgomery that we tried and convicted before a jury where they got multiple life sentences consecutive, which means they'll never get out of prison. And hopefully that does send a message. Hopefully that sends, oh man, this Daryl Bailey's not playing. And unfortunately, I think you got to replay that over and over and over again, because people forget, people just don't realize it. But hopefully we get to the point where we do that enough, people think about it. I don't want to go to prison for the rest of my life. I don't want to have my last breath in a prison cell with a bunch of other criminals.
Right.
But, one of the things that did cross my mind this week is I don't know that we do enough nowadays talking to kids, and not just kids, but their parents as well, whoever's raising them, about the consequences of these actions. I was talking with one of our juvenile judges about the possibility of let's have, when a child gets in trouble, make the parent a part of that case, because they can do that legally in juvenile court, and make the child and the parent go to some type of, for lack of a better word, class, where you have a medical examiner who comes in and talks about what a bullet does to a body when it kills somebody, what damage it does. Have somebody come in and talk about, that's lost a child to the prison system. Maybe have somebody come in and talk about the prison system and how it's not,
right,
glory. It's not the great thing. I think we need to get back to having some of those conversations, and you have to have a captive audience. And if we just did those classes, I say, hey, Monday night I'm going to be talking to anybody who wants to come and listen. Well, what you're going to get is all the good kids,
right?
And the parents, or the parents who may have some issues with their kids, but it's not going to be the kids we really need to get to. And at a certain age, sometimes, I hate to say it, but at a certain age, sometimes it's just too late. I mean, and so we've got to make sure we're doing those kind of things when the first instance occurs.
Yeah, and it does seem like, because you said it earlier, some of these young people who kill someone, they're in holding and they're crying, or they're in the court and crying, and it's how do you get that message across before they kill somebody?
Yeah.
And another thing, the gang aspect of this, I'm sure there's a local nexus to some gang activity, of course, but I always think of, we're at that intersection of 65 and 85. How much of what we see in the news, what you see from your perch, is, say, elements from out of town that's rubbing up against us in the local community?
I don't see that very often. That's, I think Mayor Strange, he got ridiculed by a lot of people by saying we don't have a gang problem. But what he was trying to say is that, and it is true that most of the people in what we call the gangs are neighborhood affiliations. They're gangs. I mean, I think we should call them that, because that's what they are, and not try to create some, cute name for them. But in Montgomery, it's by neighborhoods. We don't see really any national groups, organizations, if that's what you want to call them, gangs, really that much here. But the ones we have in Montgomery are just as dangerous, and probably more dangerous in some circumstances.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, because there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
And my frustration is talking to you, talking to others that are around this issue of crime generally. Seems like the common theme is not enough money, or if there is enough money, not enough personnel. And that often things get bottlenecked at the state level. And yet the state also gives you a lot of unfunded mandates.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it seems like all the parts of government are not moving in as best as it could here at the local level. From the police to your office to the judges to the legislators, we need a streamlining almost.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. There's little productive communication between all of those agencies that you mentioned, and there needs to be a lot more coordination and communication. I mean, you can talk about funding. I mean, I'm a state official, I'm a state office, and we get $1.2 million to fund our office, and it costs about $8 million to fund our office properly. And so I have to go out and find the rest of that money. And so I spend a lot of my time begging and pleading other agencies. The Montgomery County Commission has been a tremendous asset to us in helping us fund our office, but I shouldn't have to be doing that. I shouldn't have to be out looking for funds and trying to every single year. We're not in the state general fund. We have to we're allocated money, and we have to go and ask for that money every year like we're some nonprofit. So that is definitely a problem. But looking at the problem as a whole, I mean, one of the biggest issues that we are seeing right now, I would put it in 3 issues. So you've got, I've already mentioned parents not parenting, and we got a huge problem with that. To me, it's way too late when you have a parent who comes in and is begging for mercy for their child in court after they committed a violent crime. Way too late for that. Look at your child's social media. Are they flashing money and guns and, doing things that they shouldn't be doing? Where are they at night? They actually know who your children are hanging around. Gene Stallings, said this all the time. If you don't know your child's 5 best friends, then you're not doing a good job as a parent. Parents have responsibility to make sure, and I'm not saying it's all parents' fault, because it's not. You have good parents that do what they can, and child just gets in with the wrong crowd, does whatever. I get that. But I see a lot of parents right now that are not parenting, that it would be easy to see what their child's doing on social media. When I go out to a homicide scene, that's the first thing I do before public even knows who's deceased and who possibly committed it. Once I get that information, I'm at the crime scene looking on my phone, seeing what their Facebook pages look like. And 9 times out of 10, you have the signs right there that person, that child, was headed down the wrong direction. So the other thing, parents need to be looking through their kids' things in their room. Forget about privacy. That's your child. It's your house. Right. Hey, do they have guns and drugs in the house? Do something at that point instead of waiting till they get arrested and in court and then begging for mercy. The second thing on that is legislation. Unfortunately, we've got some good legislators. I get in trouble every time I start bad-mouthing the legislature. But what frustrates me more than anything is they call themselves law and order, but I can't get good law and order laws passed. I've been trying for 3 years to get some laws passed that gives you mandatory time for using a gun in a violent offense. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, actually, it does make sense.
What we need to do, and one of the biggest deterrents, we were talking about deterrence earlier. I do a lot of research. And one of the things that has worked previously, historically, is the federal gun law, which says that if you have been convicted of a violent offense, well, actually, under the federal law, if you've been convicted of any offense, you're not allowed to possess a gun. But I'm looking at just specifically violent offenses in Alabama. Then once you do your sentence, get out, then you can't possess a firearm. Well, if you do, in the Fed system, you get mandatory time, day for day. And when the feds were actually prosecuting cases and were actually carrying a caseload and helping us out, people were scared about that. I remember Johnny Cochran, during the OJ years, after that, running commercials that, hey, I'm Johnny Cochran. I can do a lot for you. I can help you get off on this and this. Right. But if you are a convicted felon and you get caught with a gun, don't call me. There's nothing I can do for you. Well, that's powerful. And that sent a message. I mean, we would see people literally, when cops are coming, throwing guns out the window or doing everything they could not to be caught with a gun because they were scared of doing that day for day time. We need that in Alabama. I've been trying to get it passed for 3 years. Can't get it passed. Hey, what if you use a gun in a violent offense? Don't you think you should do some mandatory time? And we shouldn't allow judges to give you probation or reverse splits or something like that? Yes, you need mandatory time if you kill, rape, or rob somebody. And can't get that passed. So that's just some good common sense things that our legislature could have. We've been talking about bail, been trying to get something done about that for years now. Yeah, don't want to listen. So that's what our legislature can do. And the third thing about that, the responsibility lies within the criminal justice system. Obviously, we need prosecutors doing what they're supposed to. I try. But, obviously I make mistakes and can do a better job. I admit that. And I try every day to improve on yesterday, right?
Right.
But, our judges have got to take responsibility. When we have violent offenders come up before them for sentencing, they need to send a message and remove these violent offenders from the street. I will say one of the byproducts of, all the pressure being put on elected officials right now and all the talk about violent crime is our judges are doing that. We have had some pretty hefty sentences handed out in Montgomery. But, prior to that, we've had some sentences that shouldn't have been handed out. I mean, people who kill somebody who's getting, who'll be out in 4 or 5, 6 years, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. So if we can solve the parenting issue, the legislative issues, and, our judicial system issues, we would be a lot better off.
Yeah, and that's a big if, but I think it's also not insurmountable. Like, these are problems that can be solved, and actually I think if we get on it now and not let it fester, it makes it much easier to solve, because I think it can get worse. That's what they always say, in the movies, right? It can't get any worse. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And we need to be on top of it. In terms of, this has been brought up to me a few times now over the years, but the prosecution of Aaron Cody Smith, do you think it had a chilling effect on policing in Montgomery and, say, morale? And in hindsight now, would you have done that prosecution again?
Well, to answer that question, yes, absolutely. But I think it did have an effect. I'd be lying to you if it didn't. But what disappointed me about that case is the people who like to complain about it on social media or, whatever, didn't look at the facts of that case, didn't come and sit through the trial, didn't look at what we were able to look at. And, for instance, we proved in that case that he shot him in the back first. That to me is a big deal. Anytime you have somebody who shoots somebody in the back. But when I look at that case, even in hindsight, it's amazing at all the roadblocks that were thrown in our way, removing it from Montgomery. Obviously that was a fix, or tried to be a fix. Let's move it to one of the most conservative counties in Alabama, where you have almost an all-white jury. Well, let's remove the judge that you have on the case, which is a Montgomery judge, and let's give, who is known as a law and order, really conservative, pro-law enforcement judge. You would think that if we didn't have a case, then we had to stack that, it was all against us, right? I mean, they were going to take care of it. And, what we did is just simply, I can remember exactly what I told the SBI agents that were working the case, which one of them was a former Montgomery police officer. I said, listen, you got to turn off all the noise in this case, not listen to, all the chatter, and you got to look at the evidence. And at the end of the day, you just got to do what you think's right. And you do that, and I look at the evidence and agree with you. I'm going to back you 1,000%. And he did that. And of course, he caught a lot of flack for it, but he looked at it, and I can remember him coming to me and said, I don't think I have a choice. I think I've got to do this. And so he did it. And we went to Daryl County and tried the case before an almost all-white jury, and really, they came back with a verdict. And not a lot of people know this, but really, they came back with a verdict in about 30 minutes. But they were hung up over whether it should be murder or manslaughter. And so they had to go back and they deliberate. I forgot what the eventual deliberation was, but it was a very quick verdict. And this almost all-white conservative, jury came back and convicted him. And then our appeals were upheld all the way through. So, it's an unfortunate situation. I have cleared so many more officers for doing the right thing in situations where they have shot and killed somebody where they did the right thing. They had to do it. They did it because it was required to do it. And, I had one officer who I'd cleared, who was one of the biggest complainers about what we had done in this case. I'm like, you have zero room to complain. But, it is unfortunate that happened. And did it have an effect? Sure it did. But I think if the officers, and some of them did, some of them actually came and talked to me. I showed them the evidence. I let them read whatever. And I have had a lot of officers come to me and said, I hate to admit it, but you did the right thing. And that's fine.
And I see that case and all the dynamics of it and the effects of it, secondary effects, as sort of one example of what nationally I think is going on.
Yeah.
So there, especially after George Floyd and in 2020, there was an emphasis, very much an emphasis on police brutality, police doing wrong. And yet I think that if you tough on crime and stopping police brutality or mass incarceration, these things are butting heads.
Sure.
And it's a matter of trying to strike the balance because to your point, I would do it again, but you understand the effects. So how do you make sure, no, we're telling officers we still have your back?
Yeah.
At the same time as punishing wrongdoing.
Well, yeah, and I get that. I mean, I really do. But I mean, the thing is, you've got to do the right thing. I mean, he had no business doing what he did out there. He didn't even have a crime. He was investigating. I mean, he couldn't articulate that at all. And, that was one of his biggest problems is, at the end of the day, I think we had counted like 14 different stories he had given, 14 different versions of what had happened. And that certainly didn't help his case. But no, I get it. And looking back in hindsight, and I've had these conversations, it may be that the district attorney who works with that police department probably should not be handling those cases. It should be on a state level or a different DA or something like that handling it, because it does hurt your relationship with police. And we're seeing that all across the state. I mean, this happened in Madison County. It's happening right now in Morgan County, where police, for whatever reason, don't agree with whatever prosecution, then it causes problems with your relationship. And it took me a while to, I don't want to say repair the relationship, but to us to get back to where we were. And I think we're back there now. I mean, there's some that still hold some resentment, but for the most part, people realize that, hey, I was just doing my job. I mean, I'm not out to get the police. I'm not out to make up charges. I'm actually out to help them and work with them and do whatever we can to get the bad guys off the street. But I, just as hopefully any of them should, want the bad apples out. We don't need bad apples in the police department. We just convicted a guy. That's one of the cases I was talking about week before last. Yeah. He, while on duty, I shouldn't say on duty, but while he was a current serving state trooper, was molesting children or a child. And, he's a bad actor that does not obviously need to be a police officer.
Right.
And, we've done that. I've prosecuted police officers for pulling people over and robbing them. I did that about 8-9 years ago here in Montgomery. Prosecuted a police officer who was conducting sexual assault exams on the side of the road of young teenage girls. Yet those are the type of people we do not need in law enforcement, and we need to rid ourselves. But yeah, I would be not telling you the truth if I didn't say that didn't have a chilling effect on the police department, and I get it.
Well, and I'll get you out of here with this because we're running out of time here. You've been in office now 10 years, a decade. What keeps you going? Like, because I know there's a lot of frustrations and it's a tough job in many ways.
Yeah.
So what keeps you going?
Well, I could have hung this up a few years ago because I've actually been in the office now over 30 years. But, what keeps me going is, one, I love the city. I want to see the city safe. I love being able to help people. My passion right now is trying to keep kids out of the criminal justice system. And I think that's an important part that people don't often associate with a prosecutor. I love helping people who have gone through probably the worst day in their life, the worst, days, whatever in their life, where they've had a child murdered or, husband murdered, wife murdered, whatever, that I can go in and at least through our criminal justice system, give them some type of justice. And, when I run into people, doing this for 30 years, it's hard for me to go anywhere without running into somebody who I haven't been able to help. And them just to hug my neck or say thank you, it really keeps me going and makes me want to keep doing what I'm doing. But, the best answer I can give you is I still have a lot of energy. I still love what I do. I can't wait to get to work. I still have a lot of ideas of what I want to see happen to help victims and victims' rights and make our city safe.
Well, I appreciate your time. We should do this again much sooner than we have, and especially as because we have Will Barfoot and Rita Ingram on here next in the next hour. As we get closer to a legislative session, if there are things that you're trying to do and trying to get them to consider, please reach out to me. And,
I will. And I should mention that Reed actually sponsored that gun bill that I was talking about, and Senator Barfoot actually got it passed through the Senate. It was the House that we couldn't get it through. So,
well, the Goat Hill's a whole other conversation, but I appreciate your time, Daryl. I really
Absolutely.
do.
Thank you.
We got to hit this break, but first, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. In fact, the entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you whether you're looking to buy or refi. So maybe you're a first-time home buyer, you're looking for a local mortgage company that you can trust. That is Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon there at Alabama Home Mortgage. They can walk through the whole process from pre-approval. Do not skip that step. Pre-approval all the way to closing day. They can walk with you. Or if you are looking to refinance to get credit card debt off your back or any sort of debt, or maybe you're just looking to rearrange your finances. It's equity you built up in your home. It's yours to use. So check them out today. You can always call them at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline proved that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
When your day begins well before the sun rises, when your family's livelihood depends on your equipment, Whitworth Farm Equipment is here to keep you in the field. Your tractor should work as hard as you do and keep working. For all parts, come see Whitworth Farm Equipment. For all tractor parts, implements, and trailers, and now selling pine straw bales, come see Sharon and Denise. Whitworth Farm Equipment, 285-9977.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's Cleaning Service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
Come celebrate the grand opening savings all month long at the all-new Infinity of Montgomery. It's here in Prattville. Grand opening savings on the new 2024 Q50, now $519 a month. Get low 0.9% APR financing and save month after month. And pre-order the highly anticipated 2025 QX80. It's here in Prattville. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. Hurry in to the grand opening event at the all-new Infinity of Montgomery.
With approved credit, 36 months, 10,000 miles per year lease, 7,200 plus zero security deposit due at signing, plus tax, tag, title, and doc fee.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey. Eddie's still here. Hello. And on the phone now, joining us. Great sponsor of the show, Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael.
Hey, how are y'all?
Oh, we're doing all right. Just trying to cover this whole, crime issue from every different angle.
Well, I hear crime is down.
Who you talking to, man? Oh, Biden.
Mayor Reed says it.
Yeah. Yeah. It depends on your sources, I guess.
Yeah. You got to figure out which
KJP says it.
Yeah. Well, choose your sins.
She
Say
did
wisely.
say one time that she didn't have any intelligence.
I did hear that.
But yeah.
So how's it going there at Cohen's?
Man, it's going great. People are getting geared up for the 4th.
Oh, yeah.
Had a lot of people come in looking at some grills. So that's always exciting. Got a couple people that have come in looking for some nice outdoor televisions. Although, as much as I want to sell somebody a TV, I can't imagine sitting out there at 100 degrees.
Is it coming with the AC system? It's too hot.
It needs to. Yeah. Somebody needs to come up with a portable one we can wear on our shoulders.
I'm all about that.
But yeah. So everything is good. All of my techs and my install people are running. It's been good here. I mean, we're still getting shipments in, and everything seems to be rocking and rolling.
Well, there you go. And amazing selection. Say, especially you're trying to do some grilling this 4th of July. Not only do you have the grills, maybe folks need to just check out all the accessories you have there.
Well, that's right, because, the grill is kind of the starting point, but then, everybody needs to get a cover, and they need to get some of the tongs and some of the other accessories that help you do a better job at grilling.
Yeah, and there people just go north to the back, and behind all the grills, you'll see it. It's a whole wall.
You got a whole section back there.
I'm like, there's so many options. Oh, so many options. Well,
and each brand has their own set of options. So you do get some carryovers, different models. Some of the knives that Napoleon has are just incredible, how sharp they are and how well they cut.
Man, now I'm hungry for steak for some reason. Anyway, folks, if you want to shop from home, you can always go to thinkcohens.com, but I really encourage you to stop by the Boulevard, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays at Cohen's. And be sure to find Michael, one of the team members, say, hey, you heard Michael on the radio with those fellas.
That's right, those fellas.
I'm saying just like that, too.
Yeah. So come see us.
Yeah. And Michael, we need to do an off-air show sometime.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Well, I would love to.
That would be so good.
I would love to.
We'll put it behind a paywall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Have your people contact my people,
Okay.
and I'm happy to do it.
Well,
I'll talk to you later.
Appreciate it, Michael.
Take care.
See you, Michael.
Like that guy. Great sponsor of the show,
Yeah, he
guys. So coming up, I guess they're here.
See one here.
Is it Barfoot? Or?
It's the Reed.
Oh, Reed's here.
Mhm.
Okay. Well,
And I don't see any ribs in his hand. So.
Oh, that's all right. We got a lot of business to attend to, a lot of things to discuss here. So,
like delicious ribs.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. But you know who's got some pretty good barbecue?
Let me go ahead and tell you, Joey. I was over there. I guess it was the night before last. Somebody brought me some smokehouse.
Smokehouse Pit Barbecue?
Yep. They brought me a sandwich because they knew I'd be hungry. And they knew they had them a big old plate. And they said, if I come to where I'm going with Eddie and I ain't got nothing for him, he's going to eat off my plate.
Right.
They brought me a sandwich.
See, I don't know why we're talking so quietly. I think we don't want them to, we do want them to sell well, but we kind of want it all to ourselves.
Well, I like it being my
It's
little
so
secret
good.
spot that I can bring people there.
Especially that breakfast they have.
Dude.
It is the best breakfast I've had in ages.
And I've tried to recreate the cheese grits. Yeah, I cannot.
Can't figure it out?
I cannot.
Yeah, those cheese grits are a
they're
destination,
on point,
folks. So, of course, we're talking about Smokehouse Pit Barbecue.
Yep.
They're on Main
Right
Street.
there in Millbrook, buddy.
In Millbrook. And, of course, at night they have entertainment and
Yeah,
a whole full bar there.
Did you say Beth was singing there one night?
Beth Cooper was there when the family was there.
Man, that's cool.
Or, stop by early for breakfast. Get a biscuit or get a whole sampler. They literally have a fat boy breakfast. That's what it's called.
That's right, the fat boy breakfast.
Daggum, it is good. And so stop by, again, Smokehouse Pit Barbecue there in Millbrook, right on Main Street. Mainstay there. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas from the radio, sent you.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has returned to his homeland Australia aboard a charter jet hours after pleading guilty to obtaining and publishing U.S. military secrets. Texas is preparing for an execution. Ramiro Gonzalez admitted that he kidnapped and fatally shot the 18-year-old girlfriend of his drug dealer. Gonzalez set to receive a lethal injection. In consumer news, Volkswagen recalling more than 200,000 SUVs in the U.S. because the front passenger airbag may not inflate in a crash. That recall covering certain 2021 through 2024 Atlas SUVs and some 2020 through 2024 Atlas Cross Sports. The Dow had 44 points and the NASDAQ adding 43. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather. Well, hi, everybody. The heat and humidity is certainly locked in for now, and we hope some of those random storms will cool down a few lucky towns later. Hot and humid today with a high temperature near 100, but the heat index perhaps as high as 105, which is the danger range. Scattered random hit-or-miss storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours, today, tomorrow, and Friday. Tonight's low 74, Thursday's high in the mid-90s, with upper 90s again on Friday, and more dangerous heat indices each day. In fact, not much change on Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
1819 News.
Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed has appointed James Grayboyce as interim chief of police and Lawrence Bautiste as public safety advisor in order to combat rising violence in the city. Grayboyce is a respected veteran with 20 years at the Montgomery Police Department. He also has previous leadership at Alabama State University. He will start officially on July 15th. Bautiste has decades of law enforcement experience and will advise the mayor as well as the Montgomery PD on strategies to reduce gun violence and enhance community engagement. This comes after former police chief Daryl Albert submitted his resignation 68 days ago. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Where I was living was not a great place to live anymore. I began to pray for a place to go, praying for all of these things that a 9-year-old would want. I wanted horses, big house with a bunch of people my age. I wanted parents. I wanted a mom and a dad. Before I even prayed it, the Lord had already answered my prayer with the Big Oak Ranch. Who would that 9-year-old be if she never came to the Big Oak Ranch? I would be trying to fight for survival instead of fighting to break a cycle.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
A woman enters a guilty plea the day that her trial was to start in Geneva County. Shaylin Diaz pled guilty to attempted murder in the kidnapping and stabbing of Matthew Angelino earlier this year. Diaz pretended to be going on a date with Angelino, but secretly brought along Robert Hall in her vehicle, and the two attacked the man after he was tricked into wearing a blindfold and handcuffs. Amazingly, the victim survived being stabbed 19 times. The judge sentenced Diaz to 10 years in prison and ordered her to pay a $1,000 fine. The city of Fairhope is making a nature park on 72 acres of land between Veterans Boulevard and Fly Creek. The nature park will include trails, outdoor classrooms, restrooms, and a bicycle repair shop. The land is being donated to the city by the Diaz family. I'm Andrea Tyson.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Right now, get the hottest offers on the hottest luxury vehicles. Drive into summer with 1.9% APR financing on new Lexus models. Or drive the new Lexus IS 300, only $369 a month. Or the 2024 ES 350, now just $499 a month. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. Get the lowest Lexus payments now at Lexus of Montgomery, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group.
Number 5130706 or C03627. 5,000 miles per year, 36 months with $3,999 due in signing. With approved credit, expires 6/30/24, plus tax and fees.
Join us tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30 at Riverside Chevrolet on 231 in Wetumpka as we are collecting items for our Operation Help and Hope benefiting new cancer patients via the Cancer Wellness Foundation of Central Alabama. Drop off your donation of new in packaging Chemo Comfort Care Bag items such as hard candy, fuzzy socks, puzzle books, lip balm, and Boost nutritional drinks.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. We're calling this thing online Joey Clark Live. And now, as promised, we have across the desk from me, well, two legislators. We have State Representative Reed Ingram and State Senator Will Barfoot. Gentlemen, how y'all doing?
Very good. Glad to be here.
Every day is a good day. Some are just a little better than others.
Yeah. So I almost want to begin with, I know y'all have been working on a package of bills. It's not just one bill. It's many different ways to stop crime, not just here in Montgomery, correct me if I'm wrong, but all over the state.
All these are statewide bills. It's not just isolated in Montgomery. I think Montgomery has just had, a string of it here lately, and it doesn't seem like there was no in law enforcement and, no push for it. But we're close to it. We hear it. It's going on in Lee County. It's going on in just about every county. It's going on in Mobile, Madison, Birmingham, of course, Jefferson County. It's all over the state.
So, let's lay out kind of all the ideas that are being presented and being worked on. Like, what are the different bills part of this package?
Well, the first one that we dropped last week, I guess it was the last week or 2 weeks ago, was, the thing about the state is we house all these prisoners once they're convicted. We take care of them on parole. We take care of all their medical, everything. So if the laws aren't being enforced in the municipalities and you don't have the police to do it, and you don't have the drive to want to do it, a lot of people, I'm not saying this happened in Montgomery, but a lot of people are wanting the police department to be scaled down a lot, So it's different ideas of things. But, we take all of the bills. We take all the liability on that. We house this prisoner. The county tries them. We pay a lot of that money for the trial. So the skin is not in the game with the city at all. The city doesn't have to try them, doesn't have to put any money in. Once they're, picked up, they take to the county jail and they stay there until they bail out or go to prison.
Okay.
And so, we're having to build mega prisons, and it's problematic. Most of all, public safety. The victims there, we need to protect the people of the state. And so I think as a lawmaker, that's number one, in my opinion, to keep people safe. And we need to create some new laws. The environment's changing. People are changing. Things have changed. We need to step it up a little bit more.
And this first one is essentially the governor or the attorney general can trigger a takeover of a department, appoint their own interim chief. And that even could be the sheriff in the county.
That's right.
But
you want to explain it, Will? You want me to go through it?
Well, I'll jump in. So let me first of all say Reed has done a great job. Representative Ingram has done a great job leading the fight on this. I jokingly said the other day that, I've got to, when I say Reed, I've got to be careful. I've got the pro tem, Greg Reed, and we've got Stephen Reed, and we've got Reed Ingram. So I've got to clarify when I say Reed has done a great job. Representative Ingram's done a great job leading the charge on this and actually started the process of trying to get that legislation together, and very fortunate to be able to work with him on that. And we filed it. I filed it in the Senate and pre-filed it, and he's got it in the House. So that bill would allow the AG or the governor to consider several different factors as to whether or not that they should come in or could come in and appoint an interim chief of police. And one of those key factors is, in my opinion, is whether or not the municipal police department has been fully staffed. And I think the cutoff level we used in there is below 30% of the average of the past 5 to 10 years. So certainly, listen, you can have, and Montgomery does have some great officers working, but when you're about half of what you need, it's impossible to do the best job the job that people want you to do, need you to do.
Now, what do you think the reception, and I know it's a whole package of bills, so we'll cover some of these others coming up, but what do you think the reception is going to be? I guess we could start with your colleagues in the House and the Senate, but we'll get to, say, city folks in a second. But
as far as the leadership, when we were drafting this bill, we ran it through the governor. The AG helped write the bill as well. My leadership knew about it. The governor knew about it. AG knew about it. Aaliyah knew about it. No negative. Everybody had a little input. I wanted to make sure that we had buy-in. And so I don't see any negative on our side of the aisle at all. A lobbyist had come by and was talking to me about it. He was supportive of it, and he has no skin in the game. He just happens to live in Montgomery. And so I think that it's going to pass with no problem. I think it's going to be a top priority with the leadership, in my opinion, in the House anyway.
Well, and on the Senate side, are you seeing the similar things?
Yeah, listen, there's people who want to know more information about it, and that's a good thing, right? To sort through the facts as opposed to what's maybe in a news article somewhere. Folks recognize around the state, whether in Huntsville, Mobile, or any points in between, that crime's a problem, not only in Montgomery, statewide, but nationally. And so I think, generally speaking, folks are receptive to what we're trying to do. I suspect there will be people who say, hey, well, listen, it's not that bad in my area. My police chief's doing a great job. Well, then no fear, because if the police chief's doing a great job and the folks have the morale there that's pretty high, that folks are continuing to work the streets and employed by the local police department, well, then it's not subject to be come in and appoint an interim chief by the AG or the governor under the bill. So.
Now, I asked after this, a couple days after this was filed, I asked Mayor Stephen Reed straight up what he thought about it and laid out, I think in the right way, exactly what y'all put to paper so far. And he was not a fan. He suggested that he won't be alone in terms of mayors and other, say, local municipal interests. So do y'all worry about the pushback from the localities about something like this?
I don't think so. I've worked with the lead of municipalities. I worked with the County Commission Association. I don't think I don't think there's going to be that much pushback to stop the bill. Of course, he's not going to like it, and a couple of them maybe in the state may not like it. But, there is benchmarks and lines in the sand to keep citizens safe. And I think that, I've had several on both sides of the aisle, city councilmen call me in support of the bill, just in Montgomery. I've had support probably, I would say in larger municipalities, probably 4 or 5 call me in city council or mayors or people that work there saying they support it. So only person I've heard negative about, the only negative I've heard is from Stephen, and that was on your show. But he's not called me. I took a proactive approach and called the lobbyist that he works with, and they said, well, I don't think he's going to be supportive of it. And so, this is a statewide bill. This is not a local bill. So this is not just affecting him. It's affecting everybody in the state. So it's a good thing.
Now, as I read it, the only real special power the AG or governor has is appointing an interim chief. Are there any ideas of maybe adding where they could pull from state resources to immediately add more officers, these sorts of things?
I would be up to their, not in the bill, but it would be up to them. Right now there's mutual aid going on now with the county and the city, in the state. And so that mutual aid could continue and even grow. And the reason that we made it the AG or the governor, both of them are going to be new next time. They're both terming out. So we don't know who the governor is going to be or who the AG is. We don't want politics to get in it and say, hey, I don't want to lose 11% or 12% or 15% of my vote by doing this, by enforcing this. So the other one has the option to do it. So we don't want any politics in this about keeping people safe. And this, like you said, this is just one of several bills. I've got a bill that we're going to probably drop today or tomorrow. It's going to pre-file. I'm waiting on Senator Barfoot to look at it. He's got a lot more expertise in it than I do. But the bill is going to hold the juvenile, nonviolent, it's going to hold them accountable along with their guardian. So there's a program that we're going to put in place with Aaliyah and the governor. And this will bring back some people that are retired that can teach a class. And it's going to be taught, and it's going to be done in 5 counties as a pilot program. Montgomery County will be one. It'll be the 5 larger counties in the state. And like I say, 61% of the crime is committed in these 5 counties, the larger counties. So this will be a intervention program. It'll be like the hunter safety course, but you have to pass. You don't come into the class, put your head on the desk and say, I attended. It's a pass or fail, and you'll have 30 days to pass it. To take it again. And then the guardian has to be there with them. They have to pass it. And then after the class, they spend 1 hour in detention facility, just the juvenile. And the guardian has to wait on them, and then they get their certificate and go. But we've got to start holding these guardians accountable.
Now, what would be the content of the class, or like
that's up to Aaliyah, but a lot of it's going to be more like Scared Straight kind of. It's going to be like that. And I think we've got to start it with the juveniles, because what has Montgomery done and other municipalities done? There's been no consequences for nonviolent. They break into a car, they take them and drop them off on their front porch with their mama. They don't have enough people to process them. So they're just playing catch up the whole time. It's not that they don't want to do something. It's just they don't have the time. So they have to drop them off and then go catch another call, but we're going to help them recruit. This other bill will help them recruit. And I think now, unfortunately, the economy is leveling out and slowing down, and hires will come back up. We'll be able to catch up with people. I mean, even Mercedes, Hyundai is having a hard time, or has a hard time. And now it seems like, everything seems to be catching up a little better, the participation rate in the job market.
Well, and there are so many angles to this, in particular with juveniles. I mean, we just had Daryl Bailey saying something similar was needed. Intervention early, and not just with the juveniles, but with the guardians. So I like this idea. Not been filed yet, but
it will be filed this week.
Okay. So along those same lines, and Representative Ingram and I have had some conversation about this, not detailing certainly no bill. We don't have a bill drafted yet, but at one point in time, Montgomery had what was referred to as a boot camp program for juvenile delinquents. Certainly not everybody that gets in trouble as a kid should have to go through something like that. But the ones that it did, that program went away for probably 15 or more years ago. What I did notice, and I can't testify about everybody or the whole results of it, but what I did know, and some kids that went through there, and whenever they got out, I'd see them, hey, how you doing? And they would stand at attention, yes, sir, no, sir. It was military-style boot camp. And at least on those folks, in the short period of time that I interacted with them after they'd been through there, they had a different demeanor. So that's certainly one aspect I think we're going to be considering. There's the what used to be called HIT, which is high-intensity training, I think. I don't do much in the juvenile world as far as law practice goes, but it's the HIT program, and I think they call it CLIMB now. That DYS runs. It's kind of a step below you going into DYS. So certainly I think would do us good to continue to look at some of those programs, expanding those and enhancing them. Discipline. If you don't have discipline, kids, everybody wants discipline. They may not realize they want it, but they need it and they want it. And if you have a structured environment, kids typically do better. And a lot of times in homes where kids are not, are doing the wrong things and they start off on the wrong path, it's because they don't have that discipline there. And they don't have that mentor, that parent, or guardian in some cases now, that's holding them accountable.
And I think that's the biggest thing. I think Senator Barfoot, hit the nail on the head. We've got to start with these younger kids. And, only thing that worries me with these boot camps, we need to make sure that every kid goes through it. We need to make it. But a lot of these kids are claiming their mental health. They're claiming that they're handicapped or got some kind of handicap. We've got to make sure that we have a program that'll fit everybody, the boot camp all the way down. If they're handicapped, then we'll have a program for them, whatever it takes. But I agree. We can't do enough for these juveniles because they have no structure at home. But we got to start holding the parents accountable or the guardians accountable, because they just turn them loose. They open the door and, they don't know when they're coming back, if it's 2 o'clock or 2 o'clock the next day.
Well, and folks, we will be taking calls at 272-9228. All the lines are currently lit, so y'all hold your horses here. I maybe can anticipate some of this. Some folks are pointing at the constitutional carry passing in 2022 as part of the problem here with rising crime. Others, I've often heard, in particular from the mayor, that y'all stopped, the state legislature stopped an occupational tax back in 19 when he gets into office. I just kind of want y'all's reaction to these arguments that are out there.
Reed, I'll take, if you don't mind, I won't first stab at that.
You go right ahead.
All right. First of all, occupational tax, yes, we stopped it. It was a unanimous vote in the Senate the year before we actually passed it, so it was a bipartisan effort. There are several communities around the state that have that, and there's been a bill filed to do away with those occupational taxes, and those support that as well. That's number one. The funding for that, it's been said, would have gone to law enforcement. Well, guess what? The city of Montgomery has not expended the monies that have been allocated to it for the police. Why? Because you can't get folks to come and want to be a police officer, at least as it relates to Montgomery. Certainly that's a nationwide trend as well. Several factors with that. So the law enforcement side of that equation and the money that's supposed to go with law enforcement, there is money that the city's had and budgeted and has not been used because you don't have the numbers that you need and you can't get folks to come on. So that's a falsehood. As it relates to the concealed carry permit, most people don't realize this, but the concealed carry permit only applied to pistols, right? There was nothing prior to that concealed carry permit law when it was in place to stop me or you or anybody else from walking down Dexter Avenue with a shotgun or a rifle or a pistol that was not concealed. Alabama was an open carry state, so that concealed carry permit did nothing. All right. Second thing is, in the Obama administration did a check of they were arresting folks on federal charges who had firearms, who were under federal law prohibited from owning a firearm. And but they had a firearm and they had a concealed carry permit. So the Obama DOJ says, what's going on in Alabama? They did an audit, and there were 27, 28 counties that either weren't running background checks or weren't running them accurately, as I understand.
Okay.
So that was under the Obama Department of Justice. Fast forward to the Trump Department of Justice. They went and did a second audit. And I think there were somewhere around 22, 23 counties. Not sure if they were some of the same, all the same, but it had not either done background checks and issuing concealed carry permits at the time or had not done a full background check. I think Montgomery was not one of those. Crenshaw County was not one of those. And Elmore County was not one of those. So our districts, were not the problem. But when you had that, then what value is the concealed carry permit if you're issuing those without doing a background check? That's number one. Number two, a lot of the talking points from the Democratic side or the leftist side from a national level have been, well, there's a rise in crime. Well, that's just not true. I went back and looked at it related to Montgomery numbers. There were 125 people in 2021 who were arrested for at municipal court for carrying a concealed pistol concealed on or about their person or in their car, who did not have a concealed carry permit, and the vast majority of those folks did no jail time. So, the concealed carry permit, that there's a lack of a concealed carry permit, is just not accurate as the reason that crime has gone up.
Right.
And the city has never brought us an occupational tax. They have never brought us an occupational tax. What we passed was a statewide bill for every municipality to go to your local legislation to get it done. And they still have not brought one. Now, if they bring one, I probably wouldn't pass it, not unless I knew that money was totally earmarked for one thing. But we have so many people that are working here in our economic development projects that the state has put in. We have so many state employees that can't live in Montgomery because of the way crime is, or may not be able to afford it. But it's just like I was talking to somebody earlier before I came in here. You go 10 or 12 miles north of here, you don't have that problem. Actually, crime is down in most of those counties and municipalities. Montgomery is up, and they can say what they want to or spend it the way they want to, but it's just, I don't think all of it's being reported right in all these municipalities as far as classifying if somebody was shot or killed. If it picked up on the news, they may do it right or report it to the FBI, but I think there's a lot more going on. And Senator Barfoot said also that, a concealed weapon is only for the pistols. And most of these shootings, like it was at North Pass, what I understand was a rifle, and so AKs and stuff like that wouldn't apply it anyway. And then also, most of the people that are doing this shooting are juveniles, and that didn't apply to concealed carry. You got to be 19 to conceal carry.
And real quick, DA Bailey just informed me that you two were all for his idea of you commit a violent crime with a gun, you lose
I
your...
carried the bill for 3 years. I couldn't get it out of committee, and I tried. And
that's pretty tough law right there.
It's a tough law, but if you're a felon, you don't need to be carrying a gun. There needs to be consequences.
Yeah, so and Reed's right. For several years, he had it in the House. I had it in the Senate. I think one year we were able to get it through the Senate. I think, the federal law, and I won't be able to quote you the federal statute, there's already a prohibited persons federal law that says if you are a felon in possession of a firearm and there's mandatory sentences, and it's graduated depending on what you've done with that and what type of firearm it is. State law, we also have a prohibited person, if you're a felon, convicted of certain domestic violence offenses, if you are have been committed and mentally and ruled at some point in time declared mentally incompetent, you're a prohibited person. The only issue that I had with that, and again, we carried that bill, Representative Ingram. I don't want the guy who had maybe a theft charge in 1980 something on a dove shoot with a shotgun to have to do mandatory 5 years. So you got to be careful about that. And truth of the matter is, when legislators, lawmakers at whatever level start, trying to write laws, you're never going to write the perfect law, but you got to make sure that you're trying to accomplish, the goal, and you're trying to accomplish that goal and trying to do the least amount of damages that you can to folks that you're not intended to hurt. So,
there you go.
Exactly.
We got a bunch of calls rolling in here. Let's go to Pastor Bill. Hey, Pastor Bill, you're on with Reed Ingram and Will Barfoot.
Good afternoon, sir.
Pastor Bill? Okay, we're busy, so let's go to William. Hey, William.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, William. How you doing, man?
All right, Reed. Reed, I listened to the whole show for the last couple of hours. Question I want to ask about this new bill that y'all put in place and trying to install police chiefs. If y'all decide to pass that bill, which it may pass, do that mean that just because the state took the power from the mayors and put in their own police chief, do that mean that crime is going to stop? What would be the difference between the mayor going out doing the research, finding a police chief that would fit with the outfit, and then you guys going to find a police chief? And I said it in closing. Now, if you have to be 18 years old to carry a firearm,
19.
If you have military experience, I thought that if you was in the military, you could be 18, but for the average citizen, it's 19 years old to carry a firearm. You have to be 21 years old to purchase some cigarettes. You have to be 21 years old to drink alcohol. If you raise the law to carry a firearm, if y'all know that the target age group that is committing all these crimes, if you raise the age to carry a firearm to maybe 25 or 30 with mandatory gun classes, do you think that would work instead of trying to, be political correct?
Getting to your first question first, Montgomery doesn't have a police chief. They got an acting. Selma doesn't have a police chief. There's several of them that don't have a police chief. And, I think that Aaliyah and the AG, and there's a lot of experience in those offices that be able to help, because there's a problem somewhere. I know you would admit this, because Cunningham is full. He has no vacancy on hiring. And I know it seems to be an easier job maybe working for the sheriff, but I've rode with them. I've been on their drug bust. I don't think it's any easier. They may get less calls, but they still have the same duties, and they're putting their life on the line. I don't think a sheriff or a policeman is any better than the other. I think both of them are equal. And with both of them being under the same personnel, they get paid the same. So you got people leaving, going to another place. You got people that are leaving law enforcement in Montgomery going for less work because they've come to us as far as in going to work in our prisons. But there's a morale problem. And so, yeah, if it doesn't work, morale is probably being, comfortable in where you working and happy to go to work. That's probably better than the pay. So something's going on. So we just want to make sure that your family and everybody else is safe, because we're paying the bill. We're having to house them. We're having to try them. We're having to, take care of all their expenses that happened inside of a municipality. And I think with people having such a investment with their home and having kids here and going to church and going shopping, and in the tax base, we don't want people going to Elmore County to go shopping if they lived in Montgomery. We don't want them shopping close to home. So I think it only makes sense to make sure that level of comfort is there. They'll try harder. The mayor will try harder. And it's not taken over, not unless they fail,
Yeah, but what I'm hearing, I know a lot of police officers, and what they saying that the reason that a lot of police officers are retired, quitting Montgomery Police Department, is because there's a new sheriff in town, and Mayor Reed said there will be no just going out there attacking, a certain zip code, and the good old boy system is gone, where they used to go out there and just make black people sit in ant beds. They can go out there and put their faces on hot hood of the car, and the mayor is not tolerating what they used to do back in the day. He's doing everything decent and in order. And you got police officers that want to go out there and do bad things to a certain part of the community. And the mayor said that would not be tolerated underneath his administration. So maybe that's another reason that they are quitting. From what I'm hearing, though, Reed.
I don't know. I'm not in that department. I can't answer that. I just know that this is a statewide bill. This has nothing to do with Stephen. This is about keeping the citizens of this state safe. And that's all it's about. It's not a power takeover. I've had other mayors, I've had other city council, I've had city council in Montgomery on both sides of the aisle call and thank me for carrying this bill because they need another layer. And it doesn't matter if it's Stephen, it doesn't matter if it's a white, it doesn't matter if it's black, Republican, Democrat. The citizens deserve to be safe. They pay taxes. And we, the state, are like the parent here, and we've got to step in just like we've stepped in on the schools. We had to take over Montgomery schools because of issues financially. And so it's no different. Yeah. It's no different.
Well, and let's not forget your second question, William, on raising the age to 21.
Raising the age. If they raise the age, and then now the police officers can go out there when they pull someone over now with a busted headlight, and they got 15 guns in their car. And they under the. And then now you're giving police their power back. If you're really trying to get these guns and these criminals off the street, raise the age. Raise the age.
So
have a good one.
Thank you, William.
You want to comment on that? You want me to?
Well, I'd just say, listen, you could have Nick Saban as the head coach of your team, and if Nick Saban was handcuffed and wasn't allowed to do his job, there's a problem, and I think that's the nexus for the bill, that you have a police chief in whatever locality it is. Hopefully you've got somebody with experience that knows the community and has the will to do the job and is not handcuffed by some political part of the equation to where they can't do their job.
Let's go to Pastor Nettles on line 3. Hey, Pastor Nettles.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Pastor Nettles. Man, I have been missing you. How have you been?
I've been doing great. Thank you. Thank you for asking. I have great concerns. I've been in these streets for over 30 years, riding, running with gangs, and everything else that's been going on in this community. What I'm fed up with is Montgomery has a total of about 18, 19 elected officials on the state, county, and city level that represents Montgomery County. I have not heard of one meeting where they're all in a room trying to come up with sensible policy that helps not only Montgomery County, but the entire state.
Yes, sir.
We're having all these backroom conversations that is not conducive with reality.
I'd love for you to come.
Represent.
I'd love
hear the represent.
Yeah,
talking about $1 billion prison, and then education is suffering. We need money. You talk about police officers, but then we can't get an occupational tax to pay them. The average salary is about $52,000 to $62,000. I can go to Hyundai and make $75,000 off the bat. But we say we are concerned about public safety, but we won't invest properly. We need to stop this party politicking
I totally agree, but that's not going to help you hire any, Mr. Reverend Nettles, because you've got about 12 million now in attrition. The ones that you hadn't, you're down 240, and you're not even being proactive to give those any extra money.
What on a state
The
level?
city council
What have you done to try to help, except for criticize, sir?
I hadn't criticized anybody.
What have you done?
So I've sat with, and I'd love.
For creative,
I'd love to answer
you guys
if you'd
go
let me.
behind closed. You guys go behind closed doors, and you talk about stuff, and you don't understand the impact that it has.
If you'll let
on
me answer,
underserved
if you'll let me answer, you'll know. But if you just keep talking, I can't answer.
Go ahead, Reed. Go ahead.
All right. So we have met. I've met with a local delegation in public because it's an open meetings law at the State House. I've met with city councilmen. I have tried to call the mayor, and he does not return my call. I've sent him messages. He does not return my call. I would love to have a public hearing. I'd have it in the stadium downtown if we could. I would love to sit down with you.
Let's do that. Let's
Right.
have a public. Let's just do it. Can we invite all of our elected officials that service Montgomery County, and you guys listen to us as stakeholders and hear what we have to say about the policies that you all are making that are affecting us, and you don't understand the consequences for the outcomes.
What policies are you talking about, Reverend Nettles?
The policies. I mean, we're not
What
funding
policies?
We're not funding education. We have things.
We have
that
just
need-
raised taxes on.
mean,
we didn't. I mean, education has got more money than they've ever had. Property taxes just went up.
Let me ask you a question. What's more important in this state, $1 billion prison or education?
I'm having to build prisons because of the crime that's going on in Montgomery and all these other municipalities.
How do we address crime?
We're
Through
under
policy.
we're under a court order to build those prisons by the president right now.
So
by Biden.
Undereducated people mean they're going to be poor people, and poor people are going to be out here trying to fight to survive, which means they're going to be more than likely to commit a crime, to go to this $1 billion prison, to fund a network of profits being made by these profit-making prisons. But we need to invest in education. Take a serious look at education.
We have invested. We've got to hire.
And then I'm going to tell you, I put in a call to you, to your office, and you had not responded.
You called me last week. I agree.
Yes.
Yes, sir. And I tried to call you back one time, and I should have called you back multiple, but it went straight to your voicemail.
But see, and it's because of all this party politics. Can I ask you a question?
I'm on the air for you. That's the reason I'm here. I'm out in public right now answering the questions.
Since you said you met with local officials, can you name those folks you met
Everybody
with?
in our delegation, Representative Morris, Representative Calvin Lawrence, Representative Kenyatta, Representative Chris Sales, and myself. Everybody, and Tammy McClammy. Everybody in our local delegation, and it was an open called meeting. Yes.
And they agreed to this takeover.
No, sir. That was when we were in session. No, sir. I didn't say nothing about they agreed. It's not a takeover. It's a help.
You just said it was bipartisan.
No, I said bipartisan support in the city council. I've had bipartisan support in Montgomery City Council.
Tell me who those. Please,
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to call them out. I'm not going to call them out.
No, but you can't, because it's just Grimes, Julie Beard, and Jen Wright.
No, it's not.
Now,
No, it's
aware
not.
of a
No, it's
conversation y'all
not.
had.
No, it's not. But
I'm
I'm not going
aware
to
of a
call the two out. I'm not going to call the two Democrats out. But
No,
let's
you
move
don't
on.
have
And we're running out of time here. I do have to hit a break soon.
But sir, please get realistic about real change in underserved communities where most of the crimes are being committed. Have a help decrease incarceration policies. Help folks.
We're going to help them, put them in jail. We're going to put them in jail when they commit a crime and leave them in there for a long time. Next call, please.
That's a really poor mentality.
Pastor
There
Nettles,
needs to be consequences,
Ignorant way of
Reverend.
thinking.
There's got to be consequences. We can't just pat them on the back and send them home.
We don't care. All you know is law and order, lock up, and not trying to resolve any issues. We need to reduce this pipeline, cut this pipeline to prison policy, and start doing something effective that's going to keep people from going to prison.
Well, Pastor Nettles, I appreciate the call. I really am out of time, but I do appreciate the call. Thank you, sir.
Please invite me on and we have a real conversation.
Sure. Absolutely. You look like you were about to say something.
Well, over several times, Reed was on a roll and Mr. Nettles as well, but I don't disagree that from the standpoint that it's not all lock them up, but let me assure you something: a carrot without a stick doesn't work. And investing in education. Listen, the state of Alabama has more money in the education budget that we've allotted every year. The past 6 years has been more and more and more.
Ever since me and you have been there, we've grown it every
100%.
year.
That's true. That money is especially true as it relates to Montgomery County, where there was a significant property tax increase. So the resources are there. I will tell you, one of the shining spots of Montgomery Public School System has been the conversion charter schools, where they've taken the same kids in the same building and cleared house and had new administrations in there, and that those schools, matter of fact, I believe 2 of them were on the top 10 through the state about being able to turn around. So there's been money that is a lot of money that has been put in education. Oh, yeah. That's the carrot. You're right. We need to do that. We need to continue to do that. We need to make sure that people have education. But the flip side of that, a carrot without a stick, and it just doesn't work.
Well, I got to do some business here. We got to hit this break. Before I hit the break, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and there at Pest Pro, Ashley and her team are ready to help you with all your pest control needs. Could be you need a particular job done, like termite treatment or inspection, or it could be you want to get those mosquitoes out of that backyard. Maybe you like to enjoy the front porch. It's nasty. They're nasty critters, and Pest Pro Services will help you get rid of them, but you might as well make them your everyday pest control company. Local, trusted folks right there at Main Street in Millbrook. And so give them a call today, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search for Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. Be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey, that guy on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Summers are fun, so how do you make this summer really stand out? You drive into summer in a new Toyota from Toyota of Montgomery. Make it the most memorable and the most fun summer ever with exceptional offers on the 2024 Toyota Corolla. Now just $207 a month. Or the hot-selling new 2024 Camry, only $285 a month. And the fun for everyone new RAV4, just $315 a month. You don't have to drive in your old car anymore. Toyota of Montgomery is paying up to $5,000 over book value for your trade-in, so you can have the most exciting summer you've ever had. These hot deals on new Toyotas won't last. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. So get to Toyota of Montgomery today. Online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group.
Corolla LE TSRP 23,923. Camry LE TSRP 30,703. RAV4 LE 31,173. 12,000 miles per year for 36-month lease with $499 due at signing. $0 security deposit with approved credit. Excessive wear, tear, and knowledge will affect trade value plus tax tag title and $995 credit in 7/1/2024.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m. Epicure and Jack's Tavern in the heart of the old Fantail building promises a dining experience where quality meets comfort. With daily specials, a full wine selection, and the freshest ingredients, they're here to serve you the best of local cuisine. Join them and let's make every meal memorable.
Unwind at Epicure and Jack's Tavern during their happy hour every Monday through Saturday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Enjoy special prices on drinks in a cozy setting, whether it's catching up with friends or relaxing after work. Make your happy hours happier with Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Break the chains and eat local.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
Come celebrate the grand opening savings all month long at the all-new Infinity of Montgomery. It's here in Prattville. Grand opening savings on the new 2024 Q50, now $519 a month. Get low 0.9% APR financing and save month after month. And pre-order the highly anticipated 2025 QX80. It's here in Prattville. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. Hurry in to the grand opening event at the all-new Infinity of Montgomery.
With approved credit, 36 months, 10,000 miles per year lease, 7,200 plus 0 security deposit due at signing, plus tax, tag, title, and dock fee.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1 WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks. Okay, so we are very limited on time here. We have like 11 minutes.
Talking about a lock-in, maybe.
Yeah.
These folks come in behind you.
Yeah, we can do this. We can do this again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Sometime very soon. So let's go to line 1. Let's go to Bill. Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Hi, guys.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Reed.
Hey, man. Good to hear from you.
You too. The last couple of callers were insinuating that y'all were trying to take over the chief of police in Montgomery. How many chiefs has Montgomery had now under Stephen Reed?
And I don't know. This isn't particular pointed to Montgomery. I mean, I'm not saying anything negative about Stephen Reed. I'm just saying this bill is needed statewide, and there's municipalities that has called the state. Selma's called the state and asked for help on their police chief as far as helping patrol and helping them with a little guidance. And we've helped, and we've been helping every day this week in mutual aid in just about every larger municipality, especially Montgomery. So it's not so much about a takeover. I would say it would be a partnership, and I would hope that Stephen Reed would embrace it. Every mayor would embrace it.
I think he's been through 4 or 5 chiefs now. He's known this one was a problem because, it was Ken, and he'd been getting complaints on him. He just had 68 days to fill the position, and now he's filling it with a temporary.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get into the city's business. That's when they call on me and wanted to help with something. but I don't go down there to City Hall and try to get into his business. I just know when something's out of control, and we try to fix it as lawmakers. And he's asked for our help on the air as a lawmaker, and I'm stepping up to help crime. And that's the best way we have been able to figure it out, through experts with our resources in our State Department.
I'll say this, the interim chief, named as interim chief, and I'm not sure what that means, if it's for the next month or until somebody's name, but I did see that the FOP, I think, came out with a support of the interim chief, and sounds like he's hopefully he'll do a good job for the period of time that he's there, but there has to be some consistency, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Bill, I'm running out of time, but do appreciate it.
Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Bill.
Sir.
Appreciate you.
And Lorraine called earlier, and I said she could call back when y'all are here. Lorraine, we are tight on time, but go ahead.
Thank you so much. To Reed Ingram and Will Barfoot, instead of waiting until the January 2025 legislative session or asking Governor Kay Ivey to call us an expensive special session, why won't you both get together with the governor and access resources that the state of Alabama already has at its fingertips?
Alabama
has a Department of Public Health. Violent crime health issues, just like fentanyl, crack, opioids. Mm-hmm. When there was a crisis in Jasper, Walker, Coleman County, the youth were going to school, strung out on opioids. The governor activated. She sent people there. She sent our resources, our tax dollars there. She put her foot down. She sent healthcare professionals. She did all she could to help cure their crisis. So the gun violence crisis can be cured, or at least can we get a commercial? Can we get a state of Alabama sponsored commercial, television ad or radio spot that says put the guns down? Can we get a billboard?
I don't know that would be. I think it's got to be the parents have got to get involved. I think the guardians got to get involved.
The state of Alabama got money for COVID. The ARPA,
right.
The government, Biden sent every state in the union extra money because they knew that violence was going to increase after COVID-19. Every state got millions. Our governor, your buddy, sent the money to Auburn, Oxford, Jasper. She didn't send it to Montgomery, Birmingham, Jefferson County. Now, the pressure got on her 3 weeks ago, and it was on the news. She sent $10,000 to Jefferson County. But the crime is in Montgomery. Reed Ingram, Will Barfoot, you live in Pike Road.
No, ma'am, I do not. No, ma'am, I do not live in Pike Road.
Let's let them respond, Lorraine.
The cake lady, the pastry lady, the donut lady, they're not handing out diet pills. Your governor made a commercial for re-election, popping a pistol.
Lorraine, we heard this earlier when you called earlier.
Let me kind of address that.
Yeah, so she's not going to cure.
Let them address
cure black-on-black crime in Montgomery. I don't know why you think that the Alabama legislature is going to cure black-on-black crime in Montgomery.
Let me tell you what we need. At least one of the pieces of that puzzle is we need more officers. We need to have a full staff of officers around the state, especially in Montgomery, that can address crime. When you interact with people, you're less likely to have issues people are worried about when they see law enforcement out on the streets, and without those men and women in uniform, you will continue to see crime going up.
And I want to say this: it's not a black and white thing. I don't see it as a black and white thing. Most of the shootings are black on black, and I think that we need to save every life. Is very important. And every victim out there doesn't deserve what happens. And I don't know that we're not.
What makes you think Governor Kay Ivey, who did a commercial slinging a gun to be reelected for a position that she was a shoo-in?
I don't have nothing to do with the governor.
Everybody.
I didn't.
I mean, that you're a Republican. She's a Republican.
Wait, so Lorraine, going to a shooting range suggests that you're advocating violent crime? I don't buy that. I appreciate the call, though. I really do. We got other calls rolling in, and we heard a lot of that earlier. Let's go to Duke. Hey, Duke, how you doing?
How you doing?
Hey, Duke.
How you doing, Reed, my friend? I didn't see you in a while, but I can get with you though.
Good to hear you.
Back to I've been trying to get an answer to a question I've been asking for a while since I seen that video in Mobile with these guys slinging the gun around. Maybe I can ask the question this way to get an answer from you guys. When the sheriff was on the site complaining that he can't do this and that because of this new version of this total carry law, what was he talking about?
Let me jump in there. I'm not sure what the sheriff said. I'm not even sure your situation that you're talking about. But if you're talking about,
hold on, Duke.
Let me try to answer your question the best I understand. And if I haven't given you a complete answer, you let me know, and then I'll try again. How about that? Under Alabama law, it is always, in my lifetime at least, been legal for a person to carry a pistol, a rifle, or a shotgun unconcealed, especially with a pistol, because there's no concealed law as it relates to a rifle or shotgun. And I'm 52 years old, so I don't know when that law changed, but that's always been the law that I've lived under, that I've known. Now, what is that person guilty of if he's carrying a rifle or a shotgun down Dexter Avenue? Well, the creative policing would say that if he is menacing, in other words, pointing that gun, brandishing it, and striking fear in somebody else, that you can arrest that person. Current law, past law for menacing. That is one potential charge to get those folks off the street. Did that answer your question? If not, I'll be glad to try again.
No. Where I was going with that, sir, when we said, everybody, most people around here saw the video in Mobile. I don't know if you guys pull it up and look at it for yourself, but bunch of teenagers dancing around with assault weapons and all type guns, and the police was on site, okay, with the guys looking at them. They said only thing we can do is look at them, observe them, maybe find something on them. But because of that law,
because of what law? We lost.
I guess constitutional carry is what he's talking about, but that doesn't have anything to do with what we passed. They could have done it anyway.
And Duke, I'm pretty much out of time here, man. You know the deal. Yeah, it's more the constitutional carry. And yeah, I've seen videos of guys, I'd say, brandishing their weapons irresponsibly or dancing around with them.
But Joey, to my point earlier, and I hope Duke's still listening, that law did not affect anything to do with shotguns or rifles. Didn't change that whatsoever. Didn't change the fact that under Alabama law, prior to the concealed carry, permitless carry bill, you could walk around as long as it wasn't concealed, and you didn't have to have a pistol permit.
So if you can see it, it's not concealed. Concealed means hidden on you.
Well, and also the law's not been in effect that long. Like there's all sorts.
And it doesn't affect any other places. You look at Mountain Brook, you look at Wetumpka, you look at Prattville, you look at all this.
I've had this argument with Duke for months now. So I'm pretty much out of time. Normally, folks, at this time, we talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. And of course, if you want some carpet or traditional hardwood flooring, laminate products, luxury vinyl plank, even ceramic tile to redo the kitchen or the bathroom, Prattville Carpet is the place to go. They'll come out free in-home measurement. Just call them at 285-8117. That's 285-8117. Be sure to tell them you heard about them here on the radio from Joey. But I do appreciate y'all's time.
Let's come back again.
Please let us come back.
Seriously, we can book the whole 3 hours because it sounds like there are a lot of folks that want to talk. And I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
I think most of them are uneducated about what's going on. And we being close to the wheel of everything turning in the state and hearing what's really happening, I think people need to know the truth.
Well, and I think part of solving the problem is hashing this out in public, and even if it's contentious at times.
You let us know, we'll come back.
Yes, sir. That sounds Eddie, you all right?
All good.
You're good?
Yep.
All right. Should have taken today off to go fishing.
I would have.
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
Anyway.
We're glad you're here, Eddie.
Yep.
Happy hour with Greg Fidel. He's next. They're glad.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy,